I slip my tendrils inside of Squigs and Frigs, ready to instantly kill the two closest enemies to me if this becomes a fight. Two more tendrils prepare shards of my soul, anyone that attacks me is going to switch sides. The animancy cat is likely already out of the bag, I will not hesitate to use it to save my life. No order to kill comes, however. Sky just glowers furiously down at me, his words like acid. You're saying I'm like a noble, he hisses. You're literally sitting on a throne, I counter. He blinks. I gesture once again to his ridiculously large, lopsided chair. It's ironic, he insists. It's not actually a throne. I'm being subversive. Aha. Anyway, you remind me of Penelope, yeah. Both of you frame trust as a transaction. Like, oh yeah, I know I was a huge asshole in the past, but it's okay because I have stuff you want. It's kinda weird. What I have to offer you is a city without hunger, Sky insists, quickly losing patience. We will soon be strong enough that the nobles will be forced to listen to us. We will take their wealth and uplift our starving city into one that can actually prosper. I nod. I'd like that. As would I. Sky agrees, smiling. So we agree, then. I sigh. I guess I can hardly judge him for not getting it. I barely get it, I'm certainly no expert on human emotion. I don't understand why people do the things they do, why people think the way they think. So I'll spell it out for him. No, I say bluntly. We don't agree. Because I don't care how appealing the things you say you stand for are. I still remember seeing my mom come home with more broken bones than teeth. I still remember the nights without food because your people demanded repayment. I still remember who runs the rings that Rowan apparently gambles at. I don't care what you have to offer. Here's my offer, leave me and my family alone, don't give me any more reason to care about you, and I won't start turning your men into corpses. I could sure use more of them anyway. The tension of the room draws thicker as the severity of my threat sets in, the seriousness on my face matching the conviction in my soul. Squigs and Frigs silently draw their weapons on either side of me, but I'm ready if they come. These bastards will not touch my family any longer. I'm going to make sure of it. Vita, the man on the stupid throne intones, his calm voice not matching the look of fury on his face, out of appreciation for our similar origins and how respectful you've been so far, I'm going to let that one threat slide. What? Had I been respectful? I thought I was being pretty purposefully obstinate. Regardless, the weapons get put away. I slide my tentacles back out of the bodies of those close to me. I think we can still be friends. I'm going to honor your request, and give you a week to see I'm a man of my word, Sky intones with mock magnanimousness. Think on what I've told you. We'll talk then, to see if your stance on employment has changed. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about, I lie. Goodbye, Mr. Sky. I don't wait to be dismissed, turning and exiting the absurd throne room. A cognomancer. A cognomancer. Didn't I just demonstrate I'm not going to be affected by that, though? Is the week all about giving Capita more time to prepare something for me? Is she going to go after the kids? My team? Shit. I need to figure something out. I stalk angrily down the hallway, Squigs and Frigs effortlessly keeping up with me. I can just tell Penelope about it, warn her who to look out for. The rest of the team, not so much. Not unless I want to field questions like, how do you know, and, why aren't we calling the Templars? Obviously, I can't call in the Templars because they'll wonder how I discovered an animancer, which... Hello, a cheerful woman's voice announces, startling me by slamming open a door nearby and walking out. You leave the dragon's lair, its owner pleased and infuriated in equal measure. Capita trills, falling in step with me and dismissing Squigs and Frigs with a single motion. Aha! A work of art you are, beautiful and true. The two assassins depart without a word as I give a very confused glare in this strange-souled cognomancer's direction. Sheesh, I didn't think I ate that much of her soul. Did I break you or something? I ask. Capita just laughs. Broken I am, but not from you. Come, come, O work of art, she who sees further. I wish to speak with you. I'm starting to see why your boss never had you say anything yourself. Aha! As quick of wit as you are of spirit, O work of art. That was not a joke, but okay. I sigh, exiting the Draken's home base and staring up at the dull, yellow sky. Capita continues to follow me, which is still annoying even though it's exactly what I was hoping she would do. My name isn't work of art, I insist. It's Vita. Yes, yes. Life you are, and a life you continue to be. With the tumor that holds me whole, I felt it when we touched. The grandest work of art, indeed. I can't tell if you're insane or just being purposefully obtuse, I grumble, cutting down an alley that will take us far from any prying eyes and ears. Capita grins a disturbing show of teeth, just a single step from laughter. One does not preclude the other, O work of art. I glower at her, continuing to move further away from witnesses. Her soul might be bigger than mine, but if she was supposed to kill me she would have done it in the room with everyone else. If she's supposed to cognomancy me well, she already tried. What do you want? I ask plainly. What does anyone want with a work of art? She giggles. To admire. Have you messed with my family's souls, cognomancer? I growl. She tilts her head, staring with a confusion which I can't tell is real or fake. Of course I have, O work of art. Such is my duty. I whirl on her immediately. I'm already right up in her face so I draw my knife, tentacle-assisted limbs moving the blade to her neck in an instant. She stiffens, her muscles tensing but she doesn't move away, her smile firmly in place. Can you not fix them yourself? She taunts. Alas, a work of art yet unfinished. You have need of a palette, then, even one so smeared as myself. Maybe, I hiss, pressing the knife further. But I don't need you alive for it. Ah, she murmurs, pulling ever so slightly back. Then you do not need me dead, either. I will undo what I have done. It is not much, this one is no artist. You think I'm letting you near them again off a leash? I snap. She somehow grins even wider, and I have only the barest instant to recognize the feeling of a talent activating in one of the halves of her soul. I'm too slow, and suddenly she's gone, appearing behind me before I know what's happening. There was no movement, no interposing time. She's not just fast like Remus or Lynn. She was simply in one place, and then another. Oh, how beautiful, she coos. I see you when we touch, O work of art. Eye of sapphire and arms of steel. Shut up, I hiss, pulling and squeezing at her being. What are you? Let go, she requests softly. Breaking you is not a crime I would relish. Her hand is still poised to do whatever her third talent is supposed to do, but she hasn't truly activated it, just readied it. It's clearly a peace offering, either because it's a bluff and her talent isn't even offensive, or because she genuinely has no desire to use it on me. Other than anger and paranoia, which to be fair, I have plenty to spare for this lady, I don't actually have much reason to risk going for the throat. I pull my knife and tentacles back, though I keep both ready. What are you? I ask again. Guess, she taunts jovially, stepping back and twirling in a circle. I do have a guess. While I have little to go off of, the clues fit. She's got animancy abilities, she looks like two souls got smashed and stitched together, and of course she seems nuttier than a bag of almonds. Are you a splice? I ask. A splice, she giggles, nodding happily. 'Tis what the zealots call me, though it is a cruel name for sketches such as I. To speak so little of why we suffer, to not intimate the purpose for we discarded failures. Cruel, a cruel name it is. Yet I forgive you, O work of art. I always shall. She pats me happily on the head, though I slap her arm away immediately. She leans in close to my ear, putting a hand to her mouth and stage whispering at a normal volume. It will be our little secret, she whispers. The clouds need not tell the sky. But this is all I will deny him for you. The work of art should join him, yes. Join him, or join you. I grunt. Is he not just your puppet? Someone to draw attention away from the real leader? For the first time, Capita's grin drops. She looks directly at me, her face dead serious. No, she answers, firmly and clearly. Never. Sky is he is. She waves her arms around vaguely, the moment of lucidity ending as soon as it arrived. A smile plasters itself back on her face in an instant. Join, she insists, a sing-song cadence returning to her tone. The rot of the city will be cut out, for life to grow in its place. There will be a place for life and art, and a lively work of art you are. But first. I scratched your favorite toys, so I must fix them. My family aren't toys, I growl. Ah, she exclaims, grinning brightly. Family. Yes. That's the word I was forgetting before. How easily so many things fall through the crack, yes. She pats her belly over where her soul rests, the purple, animancy-talented goop in the middle losing out the broken bits like pus. Toy or not, though, I gave them a scratch. Just a scratch. I am incapable of much else. Just a paper cut of the soul. Yet how paper hurts. A fearsome weapon, employed properly. Come, come. I will show you, you will see. Where are we going? I ask. The casino, of course. Capita crows. The great and terrible devourer of wealth. You wish to see your animancer, and he is there. I scowl. Really? At the casino right now? How convenient. So you're going to get rid of his gambling addiction, then? Capita raises an eyebrow at me. Yes. She shakes her head. The swirling rainbow did not receive his love of numbers and odds from nor did I place in him a burning need to recover what he rightfully lost. No. I have only given him what I give all who cross the sky. And what would that be? I ask. She grins. Terror, the cognomancer answers, of the inevitable fall. Is that the place? I ask, pointing towards an utterly nondescript building in front of us. Indeed, O work of art. Your vision sees true. I frown, nodding without looking in Capita's direction. It's easy to guess the right building since I can feel Rowan's soul underneath it. Rowan markets his street cons as games of skill partially to draw arrogant customers, but mostly because gambling is illegal in Skyhope. There's little question that the casino is owned and operated by the Drakens, and it makes as much sense to me as anything that the place would be hidden underneath what looks like some kind of warehouse. I sigh, heading towards the entrance with what feels like stone in my legs. I'm not at all looking forward to talking with Rowan about this. How could he betray us like this? How could he piss our money away when we're starving to death? I could almost understand Lynn doing it, but Rowan? He's supposed to be the responsible one, the smart one, the cautious one. He's supposed to know right from wrong. I'm the one that made a promise to him, but it feels like he's the one that broke our agreement. With Capita leading the way, we have no trouble entering the warehouse or the secret area underneath it. The main floor itself seems to be actually used for its intended purpose, with members of the Drakens moving around crates of who knows what inside. The pink-haired woman is instantly recognized by the gang members, who step aside without question. A palpable fear fills the halls wherever we walk, the people who see her apparently wishing they didn't. I get the impression that you're not really well liked around here, I comment. The sky is beautiful till it rages, destroying all that tempted that fearsome wrath, Capita shrugs lightly, her smile casual. Joyful are those that see the sky once the storm clears, but never is the lightning loved. I nod, doing my best to pick up on the pink-haired monster's non-stop metaphors. As humid as it is, we don't get much rain here, let alone thunderstorms. I do remember a couple, and I'm frankly quite glad we didn't get them more often. Rain is awful when you're homeless. It chills you to the bone and forces you to choose between taking fights for shelter that you might not win or risking a cold that hungry bodies can't afford to have. Evidently, the majority of our water comes from vast underground reservoirs deep within the stone of the island. One of the hunters told me that part of why the forest is so damn hard to clear is because the roots of the major plants dig all the way down to it. Even if Gladra the Annihilator scoured 1,000 acres into ash, the majority of the plants wouldn't even be dead. Just trimmed, for maybe a week at best. It would probably kill a lot of monsters, though, which sounds handy enough to me. Oh, well. I hardly mind the easy souls in the forest nearby. Better than letting the Watcher get them. Countless numbers of far more interesting people are here anyway. A few positively massive souls dot the tables and bar, some of which are dressed in such fancy outfits that I suspect Penelope might bow to a few of them. There's no way there aren't at least a few nobles in this building, possibly even true nobles. And with Capita frequenting this place. Do you see it, oh work of art? Capita asks, flashing a lazy grin. My incision is small, but it will not have healed this soon. Oh yeah, Rowan. I pull my attention away from all the new sights and souls to focus on the beautiful prismatic spirit of a betrayer. Rowan sits at one of the tables, glancing at his current hand with a perfectly neutral expression on his face. I ignore the anger bubbling inside me for now, taking a deep and detailed look at his soul. At first, I see nothing out of the ordinary. His spirit is colorful, beautiful, and as far as I can see, untouched. I scowl and take a deeper look, pushing my senses to the inside, forcing myself to understand his spirit as more than the simple, pretty-looking orbit appears as to my senses. There is more to a soul than that, after all, a folded, maze-like complexity of depth and nuance waits just beneath the surface, always there for me to see, but so far beyond my capacity to understand that I barely ever bother. My power, after all, is intuitive. I don't know how it works or why it feels the way it does. I'm granted no insight and no satisfaction in pushing my senses to that level of detail, so why should I try? I could spend a day this deep in someone's spirit and have nothing to show for it. It doesn't feel like a proper part of what I am, just an added detail that I happen to be capable of by coincidence. I eat and I control, but this? I don't resonate with this. Now I have a good reason to do it anyway. I scour the inside of Rowan's soul, my senses flitting through pathways and directions alien to the understanding of my physical body. I know what I'm looking for, if Capita's description is to be believed. A cut. A crack. A chasm. Sure enough, I eventually find it. The slightest deformity, a tiny opening I'd never have seen had I not been looking for it. The walls of the wound glow ever so slightly purple, the same color as Capita's threads. I see it, I murmur. Now fix it. Yes, yes, I shall. Capita agrees happily. And you shall watch, O work of art. Come, come. Play with us. She grabs my arm and starts dragging me towards Rowan's table. Hey. Let go of me. I demand. My superior you may be, but my master you are not. Capita laughs. Come, you will play. Play and understand. I don't even know how to play cards. I protest. Then learn. Capita yanks me into the chair next to Rowan, to his immediate shock and confusion. She sits at the table as well, grinning giddily as she holds 2 fingers up at the staff member with the deck. Deal us both in, please. 2 more for the game. The 3 other players at the table take one look at Capita and drop their cards on the table, pulling out of the game immediately. They quickly gather their things and leave, while the attendant looks like he wishes he could do the same. Miss Capita? Rowan stutters, sweat forming on his forehead as he fails to hide his growing fear. Vita? What are you? Why are you both? My cards are good cards. Capita announces loudly, glancing at her hand as the threads of her soul snake slowly in Rowan's direction. What of you, oh work of art? Dare you bet your cards are better? I literally just told you, I have no idea how to play this. Capita laughs. The game is as easy as life itself. You must bet if your cards are better, or pay to draw if they are worse. I'm not paying you anything. Besides, how am I supposed to know if my cards are better or worse than yours? I demand. You don't. Capita says happily. Did I not just explain? The game is as easy as life. Vita, what are you even doing here? Rowan interjects, gawking at us. I was planning to ask you the same thing, I snap back. Capita smacks some money down on the table, looking at the dealer while pointing in my direction. Tokens for that one, she orders. Bet them, oh work of art, that I may win them back. I glower at her, watching with my third eye as her threads silently push into Rowan's soul. My full attention is on ensuring she does nothing other than fix that gap, and sure enough all her threads seem headed that way, snaking ever so carefully through the impossibly complex pathways that comprise the inside of his being. Though when the staff member running the table takes Capita's money and hands me cheap wooden tokens in their place, I deign to look at my cards as well. I suppose I don't mind betting if it's going to be with her money. Vita, why are you here? Rowan demands again. You shouldn't be in this kind of place. Oh, so, you know that, and yet you're here anyway. I grumble. How much of our money have you lost today? I've made money, Todd. No, wait. This is none of your business. Why are you here with the second in command of the Drakens? To play King's dominance. Capita interrupts testily. Now declare dominance or pay to draw. Rowan sighs, the tiny gap in his soul pulsing slightly as he weighs his need to know with his fear of refusing Capita. No prize for guessing which one he goes with. Bah, whatever. I get the impression that he needs to be nearby for Capita to undo her magic, so a card game is as good an excuse to keep him in place as any. Dominance, Rowan relents, putting a card face up on the table. Dominance. Capita parrots, putting a card from her own hand face up. Dominance I guess, I say, picking a random card and putting it face up as well. Ooh, a 4 coin. Capita coos. Bad hand. I challenge your dominance. During this farce, Capita's soul threads had reached the scratch in Rowan's soul, slowly but surely teasing the purple glow out from around it. Where the foreign glow is removed, the scratch heals itself naturally, closing up on its own. As Capita heals what she's done, I start actually picking up some rules of this watch-a-forsaken game. King's dominance uses a standard set of cards, each of which has a number from 1 to 10 and a symbol, sword, word, fire, or coin. Your hand is worth the sum of all the card values in it, and you get a bonus in value if you hold multiple of the same symbol, but you also put yourself at risk, as certain symbols counter other symbols. If you focus on one, you stand to gain the highest values but have the biggest weaknesses. Sword is like an assassin, I guess, so it kills the guy writing the word, Rowan explains. Word controls public opinion and incites or prevents riots or whatever, so it beats fire. Fire burns wealth to nothing and beats coin, and coin controls your capacity for war, so it beats sword. Or something like that. Wait, is sword supposed to be an assassin, or a whole war? Both? Kind of. Just don't think about it too much. Okay, that's it. I'm done playing. Ah. A wise surrender, Capita compliments. Next round, then. No, I mean I'm done playing King's dominance. Silly work of art, Capita chides, smiling thinly. You are always playing king's dominance. I roll my eyes, double and triple checking that the part of Rowan's soul Capita had manipulated is firmly returned to normal, with nothing else added. It looks good to me, and to reassure myself I start looking around at various other members of the Drakens that work in the casino. Sure enough, a good chunk of them have similar purple-tinted scratches, signs that Capita instilled something of her choosing deep inside their minds. What strikes me is how invariably tiny her changes are, each and every one so minuscule it's nearly impossible to notice. Yeah, I think I've waited patiently long enough, Rowan snaps, tossing his own cards back at the dealer in a huff. He's not as afraid anymore. Fancy that. Miss Capita, what are you two doing here? Why are you with Vita? I thought your deal with Lynn was to leave our family alone. Fear not, little gambler. Your daughter is uncoerced, unharmed, unimpeded, and in regards to our offer, unconvinced. It is against no deal to ask a simple question, and certainly against no deal to correct a simple lie. What? Rowan glares down Capita and I as if we're the ones doing something bad here, and it almost makes me want to sock him in the jaw. Why do I have to deal with this? Why do I have to call out the person that's supposed to be the one supporting me? Vita, I had no idea you'd gotten BA. No, I snap, cutting him off. Nah. That doesn't even matter, Rowan. Come on, we're going home. Huzzah. Capita cheers. To see the home that houses such a glorious. You are not coming. I growl, turning on the cognomancer. And I'm checking Lynn next I see her. I'd better not find any evidence of your bullshit. Her smile drops, another moment of apparent lucidity flashing on her face. Best hope you do find it, oh work of art, Capita answers solemnly. I cannot heal that which is scarred over. It's none of your business, Vita, Rowan insists. Well, if it's none of my business, then you're not getting any of my money. Rowan and I managed to make it back to the shack's underground before I started yelling at him, which I count as an impressive show of restraint on my part, but now he's stonewalling me. Vita, we need you now more than ever. And I'll keep bringing food, I promise. But you're not getting a single coin until we talk about this. We're not talking about this until you stop assuming I'm the villain here. Rowan snaps back. I scowl. Not entirely sure how he wants to frame pissing away money at a casino as noble, but he's right. I haven't really gotten his side. Alright, I agree. But you see where I'm coming from with this? I do. And it's true that I owe the Drakens a substantial amount of money because of gambling losses. I carefully keep my face neutral, saying nothing. I assume that's not all he's going to explain, considering none of that is positive. Rowan takes my silence for the push to continue that it is. It's a trap, I conclude, cutting him off. What? Rowan asks. I said it's a trap. Or at least I think it is. Can't you still lose big again? What if you're being set up? It's not like they can cheat me, Rowan counters. I bet I know more tricks than they do. Besides, their whole business falls apart if they're caught cheating. Look, I promise, if I keep playing smart this is a sure thing. I scowl, not quite knowing how to handle this. I know gambling is bad mainly because of all the bums I hear telling stories about it. So many people have lost everything from gambling rings. It just seems like common sense to me that participating in one is stupid, so I'm at a bit of a loss to counter what Rowan's saying. He knows a lot more about this than I do. The only thing I know that he doesn't is. Capita is a cognomancer, I tell him. That gets his attention, his eyes just about bulging out of his head. Yeah, that sounds bad. Honestly, I'm thinking that we shouldn't tell the Templars about it. I'm kinda handling it. Rowan looks at me like I'm crazy, shaking his head. Vita, no, you can't handle a cognomancer. They're crazy dangerous, they can infect anybody and no one can even tell what. I can tell, I insist. I'm a better animancer than she is. She's a natural, like I am, although maybe not in the same way I am. Her soul is really weird, but the point is I'm confident I can stop anything she does if she tries it around me, and I can see her trying it. You're safe, Rowan. I'll make sure she can't touch you. He gives me that concerned stare of his, the one that makes it easy to see why Penta insisted he's my dad. I guess he is, in the same way that Lynn is my mom. It's a bitter time to admit it, though. I never thought my dad would be a deadbeat, but I guess I never really thought I'd have one at all. Vita, I appreciate that you're looking out for me, he starts slowly, as if still figuring out exactly what he wants to say. What about everyone else, though? How many souls has Capita messed with? I frown, trying to mentally count them all. I dunno, I eventually conclude. A lot, I guess. Why? Are you going to protect all of them, he asks. That's kind of a weird question. Of course not. How would I even do that? So you're just going to let her keep messing with people's souls, he presses. Yeah, basically. Look, Rowan, I don't know those people, but I do know that Capita could kick my ass in a fight and chooses not to. She likes me for some reason. She's making exceptions. I'm leveraging that as best I can for my family. Also known as you. Rowan is quiet for a long time, sitting with his fingers interlaced on his lap. He stares at the floor as I glower at him, both of us unsure of where to go from here. He's just ugh. I don't know. I feel like Lynn gets me, even if she doesn't understand everything. She's supportive. Rowan says he loves me, and I think he does, but I don't know. He's critical of everything. It's always concerned looks, vague promises, and... Hey, Rowan says, standing up. I think we started on the wrong foot today, Vita. Oh yeah? I grumble. What's the right foot? He steps over and leans down, grabbing and hugging me tightly. I stiffen with surprise. Welcome home, kiddo, Rowan says. It's been a while. I missed you. I'm not a kiddo, I murmur quietly, reaching up to hug him back. But I missed you too, Dad. He chuckles, giving me another squeeze before standing back up. Oh, I'm finally Dad now. What brought this on? Just things and stuff, I dismiss, waving a hand at him. Lynn is Mom, so. You've been away a long time. I'm sorry Lynn and I both missed you last week. That's okay, I say, shrugging. I was only back for a few hours before they turned my ass around to finish the genocide. Sorry, what? He asks, instantly concerned. I sigh, starting the story of my past month of life, from the Nora of Lisha village to Penta's death, though I leave out most of what I did today, saying nothing about starting animancy experiments with Penelope or meeting a true lord. I don't know why, but I'm kind of anxious about it. The whole experience still barely feels real, as excited as I am to use my talent more. Plus, I just think well. Rowan wouldn't approve, right? Maybe he would, but I'm afraid to find out. I will tell him about what happened with Capita, though. So, how do you feel? I ask. He raises an eyebrow. Fine, I guess. How do you feel about the Drakens? Pissed and a little freaked out, I go wait, shit. Vita did they? Yup, I say. Capita did something to you and Lynn back when you joined, I think. She implied it made you afraid of her or Sky or something. I just had her undo it. So do you feel any different? What about during that stupid card game? I ask. Or when we were walking home? I dunno. I might have been less scared than usual. She started annoying me more than anything for a while there. WH Vita. And I'm telling Lynn. Vita, don't you dare. I snort. Or what? She needs to know. I just committed genocide, you think I'm going to balk at tattling to Mom? Rowan pauses, his mounting fury suddenly evaporating. Vita, you didn't commit genocide, he insists. I raise an eyebrow. Pretty sure I literally did. Nora are people, they were forming a culture, and I slaughtered them wholesale. How is that not genocide? He shakes his head, placing a hand on my shoulder. You can't think of it that way, Vita. You killed a lot of people, sure. But you did it to save the people that were being victimized. You are a hero that saved a whole town from a fate worse than death. I shrug. It's an empty distinction, as far as I'm concerned. I always feel the souls of the Nora inside me, tempting my hunger. They make me wonder what would happen to my revenants if I die. Would they die and fall apart? Or would they keep living, free from having a master at all? I suspect they would. Other than loyalty, they have no particular tie to me. The shard I use to give them life doesn't stay connected to my soul. They would be okay without me. Would I, one day, be slain not by a monster, not by a zealot, not by a gang of bigots or criminals but by a hero? A savior to the likes of Theodora, someone just there to free those I've made victims. If I am killed by such a person, will Rowan smile and reassure them that it was the right thing to do? Why am I more afraid of Rowan's disapproval than I am of making victims in the first place? Rowan, I murmur. I think the Mistwatcher eats people when they die. He blinks with confusion. What? Why? I've seen it, I answer. I see it all the time now, with my third eye. And I saw it when I looked over the edge. My body and soul both shudder at the memory, the overwhelming majesty of it, the incomprehensible mass. The Mistwatcher's soul, I murmur, my voice a quiet monotone as emotions fail to properly form in the memory of what I'm describing, has tentacles like I do. Or something like its soul does, anyway. But while its body has eyes, the soul has mouths. It reaches those tentacles up to everyone that dies. Then it brings them back down, sometimes in broken shards, and I trail off, unable or perhaps merely unwilling to describe the sensation of shattering, digesting, obliterating a person. I just wordlessly clench my hand into a fist. Crunch. So what does that mean, Vita? Rowan asks, his face a mix of skepticism and curiosity. What if I don't prevent the afterlife? I say. What if being a revenant is the only afterlife there is? He's quiet for a long time, eyes distant. Rowan has and always will be a thinker, perhaps an overthinker. I'm sure he trusts I believe what I say. But does he trust I'm right? We don't really have any way to know, he says eventually. I feel like I know, I feel the certainty burning inside, but before I can protest the hatch above us opens, Lynn quickly hopping down. Hey, you two, she grins, running over to yank us both into a group hug. How have you guys been? Lynn. Hey, you're home early. Rowan comments with a bit of forced cheer. I just grin, squeezing each of them with one arm while I wrap some tentacles around Lynn's soul. Ah, I love hers. It's my favorite. So warm. I'll let Rowan have soul hugs when he stops gambling like an idiot. Yeah. Lynn answers happily. They said I earned some time off. Isn't that awesome? I scour my vision across the inside of my mother's soul, looking as quickly as I can for that telltale purple scar. Nothing. There's no signs of tampering. I double-check and triple-check, focusing on the infinite pathways of her soul as I make absolutely, completely sure there are no foreign elements. Vita. Honey. Hey, you still in there, kiddo? I'm not a kiddo, I respond automatically, pulling my attention back to the physical world where Lynn is trying to peel herself out of the hug. Have you seen Capita today, Lynn? Instantly, her eyes go wide, consumed by fear. How do you know that name? Did she come after you? Vita, are you okay, have you? I'm fine, I say, cutting her off. Why is she still scared? Have you seen her? Yes or no? Whoa, hey. It's okay, I'm here, I'm fine. Lynn assures me, rubbing the top of my head as I bury my face in her chest. 3 things to tell you, I murmur. Oh yeah, she asks. 1. Rowan's addicted to gambling. Beat him up for me. I am not. 2. The scary lady is a cognomancer. But I'll protect you, okay? Vita what? Lynn murmurs. Hey, you don't. 3. Can you steal me some metal? I need it for stuff. Lynn turns her head, raising an eyebrow at Rowan for a moment before turning back to me. What the heck do you need metal for, kiddo? I mean, I guess you know by now how big of a thing you're asking for, right? Yeah, I say. I think I'm gonna need it to not get caught and killed by Templars. Lynn nods. Well. In that case I'm sure I can scrounge something up for you. I smile. I have the best mom, and I won't tolerate a single bad thing being done to her. Not from anyone. Be careful with that flower, Lark, the Cloretta tells me. If you squeeze it that hard, it's going to die. I loosen my grip immediately, a growl of worry escaping from under my breath. Sure enough, the bright blue petals have crumpled under my grip. I try to smooth one out, only to end up ripping it off. Screeching in fury, I tear the flower to shreds. Lark. Lark, no. Don't do that. We still could have saved it. No want. I snap at her. Broken. Other flowers. Can carry better. Find one less weak. You mean, I don't want to, the Cloretta corrects. There are other flowers. I can get them and carry them better. And Lark, that's no reason to rip apart the one you already have. Pretty thing's too fragile, I growl, glaring over at her. I distinctly don't glare over in the Fulvia's direction. The creature I formerly just thought of as the loud one has not been loud for quite some time. It went to sleep 4 skygrounds ago, or nights, I suppose the term is, and hasn't woken up since. It's breathing shallow. The Cloretta insists it will die if I continue feeding on it. It and the Cloretta are still both bound in my webs, stuck on their backs next to the lake I water them with. Steadily, the Cloretta regrows both of their limbs, but I haven't eaten either of them since. It's stupid of me. I should at least be eating the Cloretta. Yet whenever she goes to sleep, I start to worry, what if she doesn't wake up again? She has been steadily teaching me more and more language, more songs, more everything. She speaks of other humans, their culture and their stories, their lives and their journeys. I don't understand most of it, but her talks enrapture me all the same. There is nothing else like the Cloretta. If she breaks, I won't have any more. Not like this flower, not like the Fulvia or the other humans I've eaten. There is only one Cloretta, and I will never let her go. She's asked about that before. Asked me to let her heal, to release her and her friend. I did not understand her words at first, and now I simply don't understand why she'd ask. Of course not. Of course I won't. Why would I ever do that? She's special. And if she weren't special, I'd content myself with the fact that she's delicious. I huff off and gather more flowers, carefully using my 4 arms to dig out the dirt around them. All of my chitin fell off weeks ago, and I can walk on 2 legs without trouble now. I even started growing the weird strands of soft stuff out of the top of my head, though unlike my meals, mine is as pitch black as the rest of my body. It keeps getting in front of my face and being annoying. The Cloretta suggested cutting it, but I don't at all like that idea. It's part of my body. Why would I just remove it? Let me grow back my arms, she had bargained. I'll teach you how to braid it. Then it will never get in your face again. I told her no, but the longer my hair gets the more it tempts me. I fuss with pushing it behind my ears with one arm as the other 3 carefully, gently, carry the flowers back to where I keep the Cloretta. Setting them carefully in the holes I dug around her, I ignore the annoying, regretful feeling that wells up inside me whenever I look at the shredded remains of the flower I had before. It's fine. It doesn't matter. These flowers are just as beautiful. A nearby thread twitches and goes slack, stealing my attention. That one is linked to the outside of my territory. Something just blundered in. I smile. If it moves, it's food. Dinner time, I announce happily. Ugh, the Claretta groans. I really wish you'd learn to cook. I'm not really made to eat raw meat all the time. I scoff. This again. You say make fire. Tried. Just burn and hurt. Why put food in? You're not supposed to touch the fire, Lark. You just cook the food with it. I shudder and shake my head. Fire is beautiful, yet it's frightening and terrible as well. I didn't realize beauty could hurt so much. The Claretta had warned me, she had told me it was dangerous, made me do all sorts of silly things like dig a pit and clear the surroundings before making one, warning me that stray flames could spread if I didn't. When I first made a fire, I didn't realize why it would be a problem. Then I tried to hold it, and now I definitely understand. I had to eat a lot to grow my skin back. Never again. Having skin is weird. It's terrible for fighting, and very often do I miss my chitin. What it's good at, though, is feeling things. Textures, temperatures, pressures, everything I touch is so much more detailed now, so much more interesting. I keep trying to put my hands on everything, which often gets me into trouble. The fire is just a particularly bad example. Be shush. No fire. I go. Goodbye, Lark. I turn back towards my favorite food, the corners of my mouth tugging upwards for some reason. I'm not sure what it means, I've never seen the Claretta make a similar expression. Goodbye, Claretta. See you soon. I shift down to all 6 limbs and prowl towards where the thread must have been broken. While I can walk on 2 legs and usually do, it just doesn't feel natural for hunting. I've set up hundreds of thin lines around my territory, linking them back to where I keep the Claretta and Fulvia. I refuse to let any prey anywhere near them. They are mine. What I find when I approach the spot where my threads have broken, however, is not just any prey. It's more humans. More and more nestweaver threads here. Way too many. If a low combat team hit a broodmother, it's no surprise they got wiped. The voice is soft and deep, almost too quiet for me to hear, and my hearing is very good. I halt moving immediately, sinking down in deep brush as I strain my ears to listen to what I now know to expect, a conversation. I don't think it's nestweavers, another deep voice answers, more like the Ivan and Baldreg had sounded than the Fulvia or Claretta. We had reports from the other egg sites about black-skinned hybrid creatures, yeah. And remember that pitch-dark thorn hunter we had to put down? It's the same shit here. No brood mother, a third voice whispers, this one lighter and softer. But maybe something that ate a brood mother. That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Look, the body in these webs isn't dissolved at all, it's only been bit. A nestweaver didn't kill this. These humans are smart. Should I just eat them entirely or capture them? I almost approach to see how they react, but then I remember, humans can hit things from far away. I'll have to be a lot more careful. I'll capture what I can, but I'll just kill them if they're too dangerous. Right. Well, let's assume we're up against something at least on the level of a broodmother and tread carefully. Be ready to burn webs at a moment's notice, Mateo. Can do. Nobody jostle me. Burn? As in what fire did? Okay, I'm probably just killing that one. Slowly, carefully, I creep forward, tracking my prey by the soft sound of their footfalls in the underbrush. Before I'm even close to them, though, they stop moving. Something's approaching, the first human says. Mid-dangerous. Oh. Interesting. The last set of humans had called me midweek. I smirk a little at the change, though I'm not really happy about it. Pretending to be weak is a good hunting strategy to lure opportunistic prey. Perhaps more importantly, how are they determining how strong I am? I can usually determine strength by how tasty something smells. Stronger things taste better, except sometimes when they don't, like the Fulvia and Claretta. They tasted super good, but were far from the hardest things to kill that I've eaten. Dangerous and powerful, certainly, but with too many apparent weak points. Just a single bite in the right spot would cripple them until the Claretta sang the wound away. For now, I'll assume these humans will work the same way. Though as I start to creep forward, I have a rather silly thought. These humans know I'm here. I know they know I'm here. Why am I sneaking? Why not just go say hi? It's not like it will make them any more likely to try and kill me. I stand back up, walking on two legs as I approach the humans at a casual pace. They murmur a few things at each other, but before I get in sight I call out. Hello. That sounded like a girl, another one agrees. Mimicry-based monster. I'm not monster, I tell them. I'm Lark. Lark, the woman asks. Is that your name? Yep. I confirm. Is good name. What your names? There's a brief pause as the humans struggle to decide on an answer. How about you come out where we can see you, Lark, the one I think is Mateo requests. I giggle. Will later. Only 3 of you. Or are more, but quieter. I start weaving some thicker webs, then circle around planting strong strands around ankle height, hidden in the brush. What are you doing out here, Lark? The nameless male asks. What mean? I ask, a bit confused by the question. I've always been here, at least since I found the pond. It's a dangerous place for a person to be, he answers, an odd quirk to his tone that I don't understand. I finish setting another tripwire, peeking one eye out of the brush. I do see only 3 humans, 2 of them holding long, artificial weapons in what would otherwise be weak, clawless hands. I hadn't really thought about it before, but perhaps I should do the same. No, there's no need. Unlike humans, I have my teeth. Yet you hear, I point out, licking my lips in anticipation. They immediately turn my way, but my perfectly black eye is not so easy to spot in the darkness of the thick brush. All 3 of them are on full guard, ready to attack or defend themselves in an instant. I can try to get behind them, but since they have a good idea of my position even when they can't see me, I doubt circling around will let me attack by surprise. Yet we are here, the same human agrees. We are hunters. Do you know what hunters are? I grin. Yes. Hunters. Fight monsters, make forest safer for human. Good. Heroes. Like Claretta. That seems to surprise them, even relax them a little. Only a little. Alan, Claretta is one of the missing names, the Mateo starts. Yes, I know, the one I had been talking to agrees. The Alan, apparently. Do you know Claretta? Is she alive? Yes. I confirm happily. Claretta is good. Beautiful one. Very alive. When you saw her, was she with anyone? Do you know where they are now? Yes and yes. Claretta, Fulvia, alive. Ivan, Bald Reg, dead. No, where are? The human's eyes go wide, tracking my voice as I finish setting up my webs. They look happy about something, though still just as ready to fight if needed. Lark, will you take us to them? I stretch my starving body, stepping out from the brush. Yes, I hiss, grinning with my full mouth of black, curved teeth. You join them. Weapons point my way instantly, but I picked my spot carefully, the longest sight line between us, where even their extra-long pointy object would not come close to reaching. If they shoot a projectile from there, which they might, I'm confident I can dodge it. It's one of the things from Hive Rock, the Alan says immediately. It looks like a child, the last, yet unnamed human breathes. She looks human. If you don't count the extra arms, yeah, the Alan agrees. Or the skin. Or the teeth. So why does it look human? That's kind of a stupid question. I figured that out ages ago. Because I eat humans, I explain. Mateo's hand shoots out to point at me and I think I know what to expect. A projectile, something to dodge. I'm not wrong, exactly, but rather than the arrow or pellet I assume I'm avoiding, a gout of fire bigger than I am incinerates everything in my vision as it blasts towards me at incredible speed. I'm already mid-motion to dodge, hurling myself into the brush on the right, but there's just nothing I can do to avoid the blistering heat completely. The whole left side of my body nearly gets seared off, two of my arms boiling under the intense flames. Pain screams through me, but I'm hardly a stranger to it. I've been bitten worse minutes after being born. Wasting no time, I turn and sprint away into cover, dashing as fast as I can deeper into the forest. These humans are no fools, though, and they do not rush after me into my prepared traps. Content to whittle me down, perhaps. I've certainly done something similar a few times. I grin, giddily hoping that's their strategy as my tiny legs finally make enough distance between myself and the dangerous prey I've set my sights on. All around my territory, suspended in webs, are still living victims of my numerous traps. I devour a few eagerly, relishing the joy of both the swallowed food and the burnt flesh sloughing off my arms, soon replaced by fresh, gleaming black skin. I flex my newly formed hands, testing my spinneret glands as I rack my brain for a solution. If that fire, I hate fire, had hit me straight on, would certainly be dead. More annoyingly, it also burns right through my webs. It is a problem. The Mateo human is not to be captured or savored. I'm killing it as soon as I'm able. Disappointing, but maybe I can still tie up the other two and take them to the Claretta for proper feasting. The question is how? How do I get close enough to bite them without getting my teeth burned off? Maybe I don't. Another smile tugs at my lips. I have a few plans, and ultimately as long as I keep them in my territory and away from the Claretta, I will eventually win. Or so I thought. Hours later, my frustration increasingly mounting, I realize my mistake. They're all problems. I try to trick the fire one into burning webs that hold up heavy objects, and another one of them just blocks or smashes the stones. I try to trick one of them into a pit, and it just jumps out. All three of them are substantially more powerful than the four other humans I faced prior, and they all work together despite how different they are. Worst of all, they are slowly but surely making it towards my sanctuary. My flowers. My pond. My Claretta. I'm running out of stored food, and I'm running out of options. Really, I only have one option left that I think will work. I am frightened. But beauty is fragile. So she must be protected. I skirt the edges of my foes' perceptions, having learned the range of their ability to sense or hear. I pretend to construct a trap, heart pounding as I feel them get closer. When they are just barely closer than where I feel safe, I flee. I run away from my territory, heading outside my zone of safety. There, I start to prepare again, until the humans catch me once more. They move slow, oh so slow. They seem content hunting in safety, taking their time to methodically clear out their way before they advance. Like the last humans, they are cautious. Like the last humans, they will die not to my cleverness at all. Only raw strength will defeat them. Further and further, deeper and deeper, they follow me. I have been hounding them restlessly since the start of the day and they want me gone, but they are not fools. They will not follow me all the way where I lead. Yet they don't need to. From far away, my nose picks up the most incredible, most exquisite meal imaginable, and I head towards it. My key. My prize. The great, impossible death awaiting my prey. I slink silently through the forest until I finally behold it. The greatest of my kin. I and the others born from our dark eggs started small. I am still small, my full height not even reaching the waist of many humans. As a result, I hunt small things. I am no mindless slave to hunger. Like the others of my kind. I do not send myself slobbering in the direction of everything that smells of a meal, no matter the odds of success. I am patient. I am smart. I do not, to use an amusing phrase from the Claretta, bite off more than I can chew. To do so would be to court death. Yet some of my kin they have courted death. And they have won. Before me is a black beast of unfathomable proportions. Slender and long, the incontestable god my sibling has become sports 4 lizard-like legs, each so large I could use one as a bed. Across its scaled body sprout whip-like tendrils, each tipped with a brutal hooked spine, serrated in a way to stab into a target and hold them inescapably as they are fed to the pointed, black-toothed maw. It nests in a pile of splintered trees, bowled over to make this clearing to rest in. I could bite this beast 1,000 times and not even be close to ending its life. My instincts scream at me to consume it anyway, completely uncaring of my inevitable death. Rather than outright ignore them, I scream back. The truest of all deaths wakes. I turn and I run back towards the humans. They have avoided most of my traps, though far from all. They could turn and run away, likely outpacing me but losing the slow, careful caution that has been their best ally. They do not do this. As I hear them shout their warnings and prepare their weapons, they do not run. I don't even have to get close to the humans, as soon as my kin smells them, it changes course to eat them instead of me. I leap atop the tallest tree I can find, watching and waiting for the death of my prey. A crack sounds out through the forest as the human releases the bowstring. Splatters of black blood eject from 2 of my kin's legs at once, a hole bored in a straight line through each. My invincible kin stumbles and falls, but its tendrils strike like snakes towards the trio without hesitation. They're dismembered in a flash, the pointed tips separated by the Allen's blade. You got a time, Mateo, the Allen snaps. Like 30 seconds? Just don't let it get up. Yeah, the Netta grumbles, knocking and drawing another arrow, ere moving towards her again. I don't wait and watch to see what happens. Scampering down the tree, I run. I run as fast as I can, back to home, back to the Claretta. We have to leave. The humans are the death of death itself. Another crack sounds behind me as I flee, breath and muscles burning. How had I not already been killed? How am I even still alive? A wave of frigid cold and boiling heat bite into my skin one after the other, followed by a shockwave that nearly knocks me over from behind. I don't stop to think about what that means. I need to get the Claretta. Lark, the beautiful one asks, hearing me sprint into our clearing by the pond. I grab her, rolling her to the water. Drink. We go. I give her a few seconds to lap up water before pulling her out, up onto my back so I can drag her as fast as possible. I don't know the next chance I'll have to water her. I spare a longing glance at the Fulvia, hesitating only a moment before I dash away as fast as I'm able, heedless of anything in the way. That one is broken anyway. I handled it too firmly. Lark. Lark. What's going on? Death. I hiss. Humans of death. I curse myself for not biting off the Claretta's regrowing limb nubs earlier, every bit of extra weight making a difference here. Humans, the Claretta asks. Yes. Bad. Too strong, no eat. The Claretta starts to scream, as loudly and as desperately as she can muster. I almost smack her in the head. I know the humans are frightening, but if she keeps that up she's going to tell them exactly where we are. I pump my arms and legs harder, sprinting on 4 limbs as I use 2 to hold the beautiful one to my back. I don't know how long it is before I finally collapse, exhausted and starving, in some foreign part of the forest I've never before seen. Anything could be here. Any danger. Yet at least it won't be those horrifying humans. I can no longer smell them at all. A day passes as I scout for water, set traps, begin carving out a safe territory for the Claretta and I to survive in. No humans come to us. Another day later, I carefully retrace my steps to where I left the Fulvia in desperation. My meal and prize is gone, no corpse or bones left. The humans took it. I grit my teeth in fury, hatred and fear twisting within me. What if they come back? What if they come for the Claretta next? At least they left the flowers intact. I gingerly extract them from the ground, holding the clods of dirt in which their roots reside delicately as I return to my new home. What can I do? What can I do? I think about it the entire trip back, and return home without a single answer. A little under a week later, Lynn scrounges up a little over 2 pounds of metal, and I just about faint. You could make a national treasure with this, if you knew a blacksmith. Of course, I don't know a blacksmith, not counting apprentices. I think there's only 2 in the whole city, and both work directly for the king. I have no idea where Lynn got this, and I don't plan on asking. The metal is worked into a thin, squarish slab which I have opted to hide underneath my armor as I nervously transport it across the city to Theodora and Margaret. To even see that I have the metal at all, someone would have to undo my entire outfit. Stealing it should be impossible, noticing it should be just as impossible, and yet I'm filled with heart-hammering stress for the entire walk. Most nobles would struggle to buy this much metal, let alone get the authorization to own it in the first place. Lynn just gave it to me, no questions asked. Which is not to say there were no questions answered. I told her about working for Penelope and what we were doing together. Revenants, immortality research, my fear that the Mistwatcher consumes and destroys us after death we talked about a lot. My musclehead mom was all sorts of excited, concerned, and confused by the things I told her, which I think is what convinced her to go the extra mile. Regardless, I have an insane amount of metal now and I need to deliver it safely. That means no detours and no risks, a promise to myself that I almost immediately break when I feel someone die within the range of my soul sense. I've been getting increasingly spooked about my theory that there is no afterlife, and as a result I've taken to collecting as many human souls as I can, at least when they happen to die nearby. Not eating them, not making them revenants, just storing them. It seems like the right thing to do. Besides, it feels quite nice having so many souls floating around inside me. I'm afraid I'll eventually run out of room, though, and signs are pointing to that being very possible. Souls don't really take up space the same way everything else does, but they really seem to hate being in the same spot as one another. Sooner or later, they aren't going to fit, and then I'll have to figure out what to do with them all. I breathe a sigh of relief as the dead soul I've been sensing comes into view. It's far from the only soul nearby, but it looks like I'm not interposing myself into the middle of a fight. A group of homeless beggars sit together in an alleyway, some chatting softly while others rest. The corpse is an older man, his clothes tattered and body thin. He seems to have died in his sleep, perhaps to starvation, perhaps to disease, or perhaps to a wound he foolishly kept hidden. I have no way to know and no reason to care. Walking down the alleyway like I own it, I scoop up the soul with a tentacle as I pass by and continue on my way. I don't think any of the others in the group realize he is dead, and I don't bother to inform them. They'll find out soon enough, and I don't want to be connected with the event when they do. I feel the move to do so, hopping into action and hiding in the alcoves we prepared in advance as I head down the stairs. Opening the last door into our workshop proper, I need only wait for a single beat of silence before my favorite revenant drops from her hiding spot above the door. Mom! Vitamin cheers, nearly knocking the wind out of me as I quickly turn to catch her. You're back. We missed you. I give her a big squeeze, tickling her soul enough to elicit a giggling fit. Sorry, Vitamin. I say, ending the hug by tossing her lightly into the air. She produces a happy shriek, doing a flip before landing on her feet. I've been busy training. The Hunters Guild has really been putting us through the paces this week. A bunch of teams have gone missing since those Hive Rock orbs dropped, so. You should just quit the Hunters Guild, Margaret opines, emerging from the freezer room where Penelope stored the corpses before they were people. The former Nora woman is still in an old man's body, Penelope having decided to wait before buying too many corpses at once. I can't say I disapprove of the caution, though according to Penelope the Revenant has been increasingly irritable as time goes on except when she's around me. I'm not quitting the Hunters Guild, I insist. Hunting monsters is my best source of souls, and I need to be stronger. I know. Just stay safe, please, Margaret demands, looking away with a scowl. If you die, my whole family dies with you. I tap my chest. They're safe, don't worry. I don't plan on biting off more than I can chew. She snorts. Neither did I. I mean it, I don't know what I'd do if something happened to you, Vita. Anyway, Theodora, get out here. She won't bite. I start undoing the straps on my armor as Theodora emerges from her hiding spot, her face a disturbing mix of awe and terror that sets me on edge. The shard I put within each of the revenants fuse to their soul, and as time goes on that fusion becomes more and more seamless. I can't even tell what part one added to vitamin anymore, there is no real distinction between her soul and my shard that remains. Likewise, the shard I put in Margaret is close to indistinguishable, only pulsing when I give her orders which I've hardly had any need or cause to do. Theodora's soul is not so seamlessly mixed. She's both cognizant of and firmly resistant to my tamperings, my soul shard integrating with her very slowly. It's integrating nonetheless, however, and every time I've come to visit her she has been less confrontational. Vita, Theodora greets me, nodding slightly. I nod back, stripping off my armor to pull out the metal slab I've lugged all this way. Hey, Theodora. I finally got what you needed. Is this enough? Her eyes go wide and she staggers over to me so quickly she almost trips. She grabs the precious mineral from my hands, holding it reverently. Margaret crowds around as well, letting out a low whistle. Holy shit. How did you get this much? She asks. This will be plenty, Vita, Theodora breathes, clearly in a bit of shock. I could have made do with a bare fraction of this, but well, we'll certainly be able to keep ourselves safe from detection now. Margaret, shall we? Yeah. Margaret agrees. You dust what we need, I'll prep the rest of the mixture. I smile a little, happy to see them getting along. I doubt Theodora is completely cured of trauma or anything, but the two of them have plenty to bond over and, for obvious reasons, plenty in common. They both seem to genuinely enjoy the research as well. What are you guys doing? I ask as Theodora starts casting a spell. She points a finger towards the metal and shears off a small corner of it, disintegrating it to barely visible filings. We're making ink, she answers. Metal-infused ink. It's the same principle behind my tattoos, but we can apply them to the building itself. So we'll be safe. As safe from magical detection as any place really can be, Theodora confirms. Though none of this will stop people from just walking through the front door, if they're suspicious. I can still feel what goes on down here when I'm outside, though. You're an animancer, Theodora answers dismissively. We don't have any idea how animancy works yet. But we will. Until then, as long as there aren't any animancers willing to tell the church about us, we should be fine. When I say we're safe from magical detection, I mean we're safe from detection of magic. No one will be able to tell we're casting spells down here, and that's the important part. Well, that's really good then. And it looks like we have a lot of extra metal. We'll have an insane amount of extra metal, Margaret confirms. Enough to experiment quite a bit with. This is really, really great, Vita. Again, how did you even get this? Grandma's a famous metal thief, Vitamin answers, peering over curiously as the two metamancers work. She's the coolest. Speaking of experiments, I was wondering if we could try something, Mom. I turn her way, raising an eyebrow. Oh yeah? What's up? What if you gave me more of your soul shards? Oh. That's an interesting idea. Some part of me thinks it's doable, but I'm a little worried about that messing with your head more than necessary, Vitamin. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, she agrees, holding her arms up at me until I lift her onto my shoulders. But you know how when you eat soul stuff, you kinda dissolve it first. It's just raw power at that point, it doesn't hold any aspect of the original soul's personality or temperament or whatever. I'm thinking, what if you mama bird for me? Chew a bit, then barf into my spirit. How would that work? The question would be whether or not I can apply it to a soul that's already in a body. No, that's not the question. Vitamin is my revenant. I can just take her out of that body, mess with her soul there, then put it back. I think it might work, but do you really want to risk it? I ask. She shrugs. If we mess up and I end up becoming more like you, that's still a win in my book. You're the best. Ah, she's just so cute. Welp, time to rip her soul out. I pick Vitamin up off my shoulders to hold her like a baby, reaching in a tentacle to remove her. Her body goes limp. Meanwhile, I pull a shard out of my own soul like I would when making a revenant. It feels like such a natural process to me, I barely even question it most of the time, but for curiosity's sake I stare inward at my soul as I do it. Like other people, the inside of my soul's core is a complex maze, snaking off in directions alien to my normal senses. Unlike other people, I seem to have a few sections of my soul that lack any such complexity. The mind-boggling pathways and structures are instead a single pattern, complex but all-pervasive as it repeats through a mass of extra concentrated soul stuff. It's from this part of my spirit that I take shards, and as soon as I do my soul fills in the gap without issue. Rather than stick the shard in whole, though, I crush it to pieces, destroying it as if I was planning to reintegrate it into myself. Instead, I let Vitamin's soul absorb it, and to my surprise it does so, quite greedily. Just to test again, I crush another shard and try to feed it to a non-revenant soul, but as I suspected it doesn't take. So revenants can absorb soul power too? Or just my revenants? Either way, Vitamin's soul gets a bit less mini, and when I put her back into her body she grins, flexing her thin, pale figure. Hey, I feel better. Did it work? It did, yeah, I confirm. The power doesn't come from nowhere, but it's handy to know. I haven't been spending my time doing nothing, you know, Vitamin says, hopping down from my arms. I've been training too. But no matter what I do, my soul doesn't grow like Remus's memories say it should. Oh, so she does have Remus's memories. I'm not sure if I should ask about it. Penta was always cagey about Penelope's memories, and I always got the impression it was for reasons beyond not wanting to piss Penelope off by sharing them. Still, I'll see if I can steal some of her training tips. Has your soul been growing at all? I ask. Not that I can tell. I frown, moving my attention deep inside her spirit. She's right, if anything, her soul might have gotten a little smaller before I added a bit to it. Not much, but a little. I look at Theodora and Margaret as well, and sure enough they both seem ever so slightly weaker than the last time I was here. It's not enough that I would have noticed without looking for it, but it's definitely there. Shit, I murmur. You guys degrade. Margaret looks up with surprise while Theodora grimaces. I was afraid of that, the tattooed woman grumbles. It wouldn't make sense if we didn't. We don't eat, we don't drink, where's the energy that sustains our bodies coming from? The only things I can think of that could be powering us are ambient magical energy from the air which we don't seem to be absorbing at all, or we're burning our own souls. Vitamin and Margaret share a concerned look. Nora burned their souls for energy when outside a body, but we degraded much faster when we were alive. Surely there's something else to it. Perhaps whatever Vita does to us is simply more efficient than how the Nora were made, Theodora hypothesizes. If the theory that you were artificial bioweapons is true, it could be a failure of your creator, or even an outright intentional design flaw. That's a good point, Margaret murmurs. Plus, revenants can be naturally occurring, and they don't degrade as quickly as Nora do, although they also try to kill every living thing they come across, so perhaps their situation isn't one-to-one applicable to ours. Maybe revenants kill to stay alive, I point out. If your souls are constantly degrading, and the way to fix that is with more soul stuff, well, the solution is to go out and find some souls. And do what with them? Can natural revenants digest like you can? Vitamin asks. I'm pretty sure we can't. So how would they eat the souls? We're all silent for a while as the questions sink in. It's a bit unsettling how little I understand my own abilities, but I suppose that's part of why we made this place. Well, I'm definitely not leaving the Hunters Guild, I grumble. I've got to feed all of you now. The good news is that you don't seem to degrade very fast. It's been a week and I wouldn't have even noticed if Vitamin hadn't made me look for it. You want me to give you all a little extra for now? Yes, please, Margaret answers immediately. No thank you, Theodora murmurs. I frown at her as I prep a shard for Margaret. You sure? You're going to have to eat eventually. She shakes her head. We shouldn't just assume that. We'll do this properly. I'll volunteer to see what happens if we don't eat. It's pretty obvious that Theodora just doesn't want me to stick any more animancy voodoo inside her, but I nod anyway. She does have a point. I grab Margaret and quickly rip her soul out, sprinkling crushed shard on it like a rich asshole tossing crumbs to pigeons before chucking her back in her body. She blinks, slightly frazzled. I guess I probably should have warned her first. Anyway, there's your medal, ladies, I say, grabbing my armor and starting to put it back on. Margaret quickly scurries over to help me with it. I never asked for that, but well, I guess I don't mind. I let her do it. Do any of you know where Penelope is? I think she went back to the Hunters Guild earlier, Margaret answers, finishing up the last few straps. That's my destination, then. I give Vitamin one last goodbye squeeze and soul tickle before returning up the stairs, triple checking that everything is locked up. The walk back to the guild from here is long and boring. I think Penelope has ended up skipping it more than once, just sleeping with the revenants as they experimented long into the night. It turns out that revenants never feel any desire to sleep, but they can if they choose, sending their soul into a state of stasis not unlike how they are when trapped inside my body. Eventually, however, I approach the Hunters Guild, and I'm immediately worried. I feel Penelope's soul in the medical ward rather than our room, and she's surrounded by 3 Remus-level hunters. Another soul that I assume to be the patient is next to her, and it gives me the shivers. I hurry inside, quickly confirming my suspicions. 3 worried-looking hunters surround Penelope as she treats a near-skeletal young woman who happens to be missing all 4 of her limbs and most of her soul. Most of her soul. I've never seen anything like it. What should be a round sphere has been reduced to jagged, craggy chunks, each barely hanging onto each other. How is this woman even alive? I can see how her soul is supposed to look, the present bits hinting at the whole like a half-finished puzzle. This was once a bright red soul with the force of a pounding waterfall. Now it's dark and barely a trickle, so weak that one of my starving siblings would be a better meal. Even if it was incredibly strong, however, the way it's been mutilated it disturbs me in a way that even her quadriplegia can't match. I approach. I can't help myself. It's the kind of horror I can't look away from. One of the super strong hunters lifts a hand, barring my advance. He's a tall man with a sword on his hip, reminding me somewhat of a much younger version of Remus. Please stay back, miss, he says. Don't crowd the biomancer. Penelope, it's me, I say. Can I see something? Oh, Vita. Yes, by all means. Just stay out of my way. The other hunters glance at each other and let me through. Nobody questions a biomancer in a medical ward, except maybe another biomancer. I circle around to the other side of the comatose body, pulling up a chair and carefully, oh so carefully, sending a tentacle in to prod at the broken soul. It's so weak I almost chip a piece off even from casually brushing it. I didn't even know a soul could get damaged from incidental contact. I can remove this effortlessly. I don't, of course, but I can. Leave us, please, Penelope says, turning to the other 3 hunters. You're distracting me. They look quite irritated at that, but that's Penelope for you. The one who stopped me has a soft, white soul that makes me think about a cake full of swords. Dangerous, yet fluffy and sweet outside that. I like him immediately, though I can't say the same for his 2 teammates. A short, dark-skinned man scowls my way with a soul so hot I suspect he's either got a thermomancy talent, a bad temper, or both. The 3rd hunter and only woman of the trio glares at me with thin eyes, but I don't get the impression that it's personal, it's just her face. Her soul, though, is like a dark whirlpool, a bitter pit of power and resentment. How did such a nice-seeming man get stuck with 2 nasty grumps like these? Is it alright if we wait outside? The white-souled guy asks. You're welcome to, Penelope grunts. But I'm not going to be waking her up to interrogate her any time soon. I will need at least a day to get food and water into her system before large-scale biomancy is even remotely safe. I can tell that's a lie, but he nods anyway and the 3 of them depart. Penelope starts waving her fingers around, and soon I hear the telltale dampening of sound that I recognize as a silence bubble. Since when can you cast this? I ask, impressed. Since yesterday, Penelope grunts. Though I technically don't have a kinemancy license, so let's make this quick. You see something odd? I nod. Penelope snorts. Ugh. Damn your license. You're correct, of course. Medically, she's very weak but not deathly starving. I got her fluids up so it should be safe to wake her. She just won't. Yeah, I'm surprised she's even alive. I've never seen a soul like this. But I think it's repairing itself. I hadn't stopped peering at the woman's soul while everyone else talked, and sure enough I do see the soul regrowing, which hardly seems fair. My revenants lose soul strength over time, but living people gain it. It makes sense, though, and matches what I know. The soul helps the body grow if it's stronger, and the body helps the soul grow when it's stronger. Both body and soul are horridly weak in this woman, but her soul is at the clear disadvantage. Still, I wouldn't be surprised if a soul this full of holes can't even think, I continue. It barely feels human like this. Penelope nods, thinking. When do you think she'll wake up? I shrug. No idea. At this rate her soul won't be whole again for months, but she might not need the whole thing to be awake. Can you speed up the repair somehow? I don't think so. Unless you want me to kill her first. Penelope hums thoughtfully. Oh shit, she's seriously thinking about it. That was a joke, I clarify. Doesn't mean it's a bad idea, but you're right, it's probably not worth the risk in this case. I can try something I just learned today. I hedge. I don't think living things can absorb soul dust, but she's halfway in the grave anyway. Penelope shakes her head, though. Not if you aren't confident in it. A slow but steady recovery is much preferable to experimenting on a patient. Who is this lady anyway? I ask. What the hell happened to her? She is a hunter named Fulvia, Penelope informs me. Her team was sent to one of the Hive Rock orb drop sites. They were presumed all dead, but... Penelope gestures to the patient. You win the bet, by the way. It was eggs. Alan's team found her alive, held captive by one of the things that hatched from them. It was reportedly sapient. I shudder. Holy shit. Just the idea of another soul-eating monster running around fills me with dread. There's just something that feels imminently more threatening about that than anything else I've ever come across. I hope I never have to get anywhere near those things. You'd best prepare yourself, by the way, Penelope continues. I'd give 10 to 1 odds that you're going to be part of the team that goes after it. Of course. So you're telling me that this little girl, who has barely been a hunter for a few months, is the longest-range scout you have? She's the longest-range scout we have available, yes. As I'm sure you know, most of our teams are scouting the other Hive Rock egg sites. What she lacks in experience, however, I assure you she makes up for in raw talent. Oh yeah? What's your range, kiddo? I glower up at Mateo, the thermomancer that's part of the team who rescued Fulvia. Just as Penelope predicted, the branch leader put my name forward as the scout to go after the spooky monster that got away. If that wasn't bad enough, I'm now being berated over it by people who don't even know me. Assholes. I can sense relative danger level at 450 yards, I say. At least if I focus. Passively, I'm confident in my ability to pick up anything noteworthy in 250. Mateo raises his eyebrows at that, letting out a low whistle. The glowering archer snorts. But can you fight? She asks. My talent allows me to kill anything near me with a low enough magic resistance, I admit. So I excel against swarms. I'm a middling combatant against larger or more powerful opponents, though. She nods thoughtfully. We did get rid of most of the big stuff already. I still don't think a rookie team should be going anywhere near the Hive Rock drops, though. Especially for a potential rescue mission. The hunters and the branch leader continue to argue, while I go back to standing silently nearby. The conversation is apparently about who should be sent where. The branch leader wants Alan, Netta, and Mateo to head for a different Hive Rock drop site where yet more hunters have failed to return. The three of them want to go back and finish the job on the monster that got away along with a longer-range scout to accompany them. Either way, I'd be going towards the soul-eating monster, so I have a hard time caring whether it's with the experts I don't know or the rookies I do. Yes, I do get the irony of being afraid of a soul-eating monster. Eventually, the argument ends in the branch leader's favor. The three that returned with Fulvia will be going on a different mission. My team, plus a senior hunter to be determined, will be going after the Hive Rock monster possibly within the next few hours, meaning that I can't even go home to say goodbye. Typical. I hope I don't piss off Sky by missing that follow-up meeting with him, since that's supposed to be tomorrow, I think. Can you gather your team for me, Vita? The branch leader asks. I nod wordlessly and set off to do exactly that. Easy enough, since I can feel where all of them are, the training yard. All of them except Penelope, of course, so I go to grab her first. I find her where I left her in the medical ward, reading a book with a bored expression on her face while she sits next to Fulvia's unconscious body. Hey, Penny, I greet her. Don't call me Penny, she shoots back automatically, turning a page. Well. Was I right or was I right? You were right, I smirk. But you're coming too. She snorts, snapping her book shut. Well, they are desperate for hunters, aren't they? Poor Jeremy. He's going to be the only biomancer left in the damn building. I don't know who Jeremy is, so I instantly forget him. Well, anyway, the boss man wants me to gather our team up. Penelope nods. I'll join you shortly. Policy is to have someone on duty in here at all times, and Jeremy is out eating lunch. I walk onto the grass, watching Nora and Bentley beating the shit out of each other in full armor. Well, it's probably more accurate to say they're beating the shit out of each other's weapons. Bentley swings as hard as he can with Nora swinging her own blade at his to intercept it. I'm pretty sure that's terrible form, though. Won't she break her weapon that right? Reinforce. Still, talent or no, she's going to break Bentley's weapon. I don't interrupt them while they're sweating it out, though, heading over to bother Orville instead. He's sitting with his eyes closed, sweat beading on his forehead as he pulls in more and more mana. I plant a smarmy grin on my face and nudge him with a boot. He keeps his focus, to his credit. I thought you said channeling mana non-stop was insane, I taunt at him. It is, he grumbles, eyes still closed. But the more I think about it, the more I get why she does it anyway. I'm obviously not going to be doing this in a fight or something, but guh. Whoa. Sorry, let's get you to Penelope. We've got a mission coming up, I'm supposed to gather you all. Yeah, ugh. That figures. I should be fine, I don't think I got hit by anything a biomancer can't treat. Is she in the medical ward? Yeah, I confirm, watching him stagger away. I'll have to make sure to keep track of him until he makes it there okay. I agree with his assessment, at least. I didn't feel like much more than a hiccup, but Orville's soul, like most males, floats around his chest area. Considering he coughed up blood, that hiccup may have been at a lung. Penelope has healed much worse than minor lung trauma, but without a biomancer on hand. If a wound like that went untreated? I've seen people die from much less. Note to self, don't start training mana channeling without Penelope. I guess I could just move my own soul out into my hand or something, but I don't really want to lose a hand either. A loud clang rings out through the yard, signifying the end of Nora and Bentley's fight as he knocks her sword clean out of her hand. Yes, he cheers, pumping his axe triumphantly up and down. This means nothing, Nora gasps, falling to the ground to rest. A win is a win. Bentley insists. But Nora, your talent is awesome. My axe isn't even chipped. I thought Nora could only reinforce things she's touching, I say, approaching the both of them. Yes. Nora is going to be the best. Bentley agrees happily, offering her a hand to get up. You just need more stamina. You shut up about that. Nora laughs, accepting his arm and pulling herself to her feet. I've never seen you sweat in your life. We've got a new assignment, I tell them both, smiling a little at their banter. The branch head wants to see everybody. Damn, no rest for the wicked, Nora complains. You go on ahead, Bentley, I'll catch up. All right, the big lug agrees happily. See you there, Nora. See you there, Vita. He bounds off. As usual, the dude reminds me of a huge, happy dog. Nora watches him go, grinning appreciatively. Damn, but that is one dumb hunk, she says, stretching out her back. You like him or something? I ask. Huh, I comment. Really? Well, sucks for you I guess. She laughs and claps me on the back. Brutal, girl, brutal. Learn to let a girl down easy, would you? You're not wrong, though. It sucks for Orville too. Dude could not be less interested. Sounds complicated, I complain. How can you even tell this kind of stuff? She glances down at me, shrugging. Well, I care, I guess. Have you not noticed how much of a puppy Bentley is around the guy? I huff out a breath, not really wanting to think about it. Bentley is always a puppy. Just warn me if you're going to indulge your carnal urges in our room, okay? I'll hang a sock on the doorknob. Promise. Okay. I don't know how that's going to help if I'm 400 yards away, but it's certainly a thing you can do, I guess. Nora blinks in confusion for a moment as I start to return to the branch leader's office, though she quickly catches up with me. Wait, so, you mean like avoid it? Like way avoid it? So can you feel? I let out an exasperated sigh. Are we really talking about this? Yes. I don't get any details or anything, thankfully, but yes. It's pretty easy to tell when two people are going at it in my range. Why else would two people be bouncing around on top of each other or in other positions? It's doubly easy and doubly disgusting when it's someone I know and I can interpret the soul patterns. Nora, however, to my mounting irritation, absolutely lights up at this knowledge. Oh my God, Vita, you have got to give me the dirt. In fact, do not. And I'm also not going to. Vita, come on. You could take like, one lap around the rich district and blackmail half the government. I halt in my tracks. Oh shit, I probably could. How much do I have to pay you to never, ever tell Penelope that? I ask seriously. That gets Nora cackling so hard that she actually bends over to slap her knee. I don't see the humor, personally. The only thing of value I've gotten out of the constant background annoyance is a question. I'm pretty sure souls don't enter the body at conception, so where do they come from and when? My best guess is that it happens at some point during pregnancy. Women with big OL bellies often have an extra soul inside them. The first time I felt someone like that I thought I'd found a damn Nora. Unborn baby souls are almost always tiny and pure black, raw, flavorless soul stuff, yet to be given a unique form. Every so often I'll see dots of color or texture inside, perhaps that indicates the child will have a talent, or perhaps it's something else entirely. As of now, I have no way to know. Nora and I join Bentley in the branch leader's office, with Penelope and Orville arriving soon afterwards. He starts giving the overview of what our mission will be, where we'll be going, and so forth. It's a job that Remus used to do for us, but I haven't seen him since we got back to Skyhope. The job is pretty simple. Our primary goal is search and rescue, and our secondary goal is killing every Hive Rock monster we come across. We memorize as much terrain information as we can, taking in the reports from the previous team and forming our strategy around them. There's just one element that's unaccounted for. You said you'll be sending a senior hunter with us, right? I ask the branch leader. Who is it? Yes. Well, they should be here shortly. I frown, searching around my range for strong souls nearby that I recognize. Sure enough, someone is on their way. I thought Soam was retired, I comment. Penelope raises an eyebrow while the rest of my team just doesn't recognize the name. The branch leader chuckles, though his apparent mirth is all fake, not reflected in his soul in the slightest. I can hardly blame him. The portly, middle-aged man is in charge of putting hunters in the right places, after all, and the number of teams failing to return from their missions has been rapidly rising since the Hive Rock egg drops. The poor guy is doubtlessly stressed out of his mind. They unretired, and frankly they couldn't have picked a better time, he answers. I doubt Soam has gotten rusty in the interim. Your team should be in good hands. I have to agree. A poison expert could be exactly what we need to deal with the magic-resistant or huge targets that our team struggles with. We'd otherwise rely on Bentley to take on bigger threats, but despite the fact that he's the second biggest soul on the team, he's still somehow our worst fighter. Although, after this mission, I'll probably be second biggest. Everyone on my team is growing and becoming stronger, but I'm growing faster than everyone else by a mile. I smile a little at the thought, stretching my tentacles in anticipation. All I have to do is not get eaten. Simple enough, right? Lark, you know, if you want, I could heal you as well. I glance up from my meal, looking at my Claretta with confusion. What is she talking about all of a sudden? I can heal myself, I point out, leaning back over to take another bite. Well, what if you're stuck without food? Or you get hurt extra badly? I lift my shoulders up and down to indicate I'm indifferent to the idea while I swallow. Then you can heal me. That's fine. No, I can't, Lark, my Claretta says. I'll have to teach you to lower your magic resistance first. I take another large bite, more than a little confused about what all that meant. I am not eating my Claretta, though I should soon. Her limbs have almost grown back to elbows and knees. But first, I have to finish figuring out how my body functions. I'm not stupid, I've noticed I tend to pick up traits from creatures I eat a lot of. I can't control which traits I pick up, though, or at least I don't seem to be able to control it. I can, however, control my diet. Moving to another part of the forest was risky, but I've managed to set up another home for myself and my Claretta. Many other things surround us, and they are much larger and more aggressive than the nest weavers which had made up so much of my diet before they were replaced by the fulvia. Now, without the fulvia to be my meal, I'm back to inferior creatures. Out of them all, I've decided to hunt what my Claretta calls cat-cells. Slightly larger than I am, these four-legged furry creatures are sleek pack hunters with exceptional hearing and speed, the latter of which is of particular interest. Chowing on them for days has improved my mobility significantly, as well as given me claws on the ends of my fingers and toes, which are a welcome compromise between human hands and the bladed nestweaver forelimbs I previously possessed. Much less useful is how my ears have slowly moved to the top of my head, getting all triangular and fuzzy. Catcel fur is brownish, blending in with the dirt and trees of the area, but as usual even the parts of my body copied from other living things end up an inky, all-consuming black. It's convenient at night, I suppose, but the vast majority of the time is day. Either way, cat-cells are phenomenally fast, and they have the agility needed to make sharp turns at those speeds. At first I could not catch them in my webs, as they can somehow detect and avoid them at the last second. There is a limit to how sharply they can turn, however, and since discovering that, I have been collecting them by the dozens. The more I eat, the faster I manifest their attributes. What is magic resistance? I ask once my current meal struggles its last. It's, how well you resist magic, my Claretta answers rather uselessly. Yours is too high, and I can't get through it. You said those things already, I complain. What is resisting magic? It makes spells cast on you not work, lark. I scowl. Mine can't be that good then. I got burned by that fire guy. You said that was magic, right? Yes, but it wasn't magic cast on you, my Claretta clarifies. When a thermomancer throws flames at you, they cast their magic on an area nearby to produce the flames. By the time it reaches you, it's not magic anymore. Just heat. Your magic resistance would only apply if they tried to cook you from the inside. So you can't cast on me because all your magic is on my insides. Fulvia tried to get you to stop, though. You healed her anyway. Something you did to her weakened her magic resistance. Wait, you understood us back then? No, I grumble. I remember what you said, though, so I understand it now. Anyway, I do not need healing. I want your. I don't know the word for it, so I pantomime aiming and firing the ranged weapon that my Claretta and the Netta used. The one that the Netta pierced death with. My Claretta doesn't answer for a while, which is fine by me since I have time to finish off my catcel and move to the next one. I can't show you how to make or fire a bow without arms, lark, my Claretta eventually says. I scowl at her, thinking on that. I haven't really been eating her lately anyway. She has become more like a flower than a catcel. Rings of flowers are planted all around her, in fact, carried here by me whenever I find one I like. A different sort of pleasure than food, one that doesn't sharply vanish the moment after it arrives. Something my Claretta and I made together. I'd like to make a bow with her as well. Okay, I say. I'll stop eating you. You can regrow your arms. Legs too, if you want. There's a moment of silence before I notice my Claretta let out a shaky, slow breath. I glance her way between bites, noticing that eye water coming out of her face again. Curiously, I finish off my meal before plodding over to her, curling up on her chest as I so often do. Claretta? I ask. What are you doing? Thank you, lark, she blubbers. Thank you. What does that mean? I ask. I've never heard that word before. She chuckles a little, though it comes out as a series of chokes. More eye water stuff. It makes me worried for some reason. Is it stopping her from breathing right? I hope she'll be okay. When you thank someone, Lark, you show them appreciation. You thank someone when they do something nice for you. Oh, okay, I murmur. So why are you leaking water out of your face? You've done that a few times. That either means I'm sad, or it means I'm happy. Aren't those opposites? That's kind of confusing, isn't it? Ugh, humans. You're not going to die, though. Another strained chuckle. No, Lark. I think I'll actually be okay. Well, that's good. I settle into a comfortable torpor, enjoying the rise and fall of my bed as my Claretta's breathing starts to stabilize once again. She'll be okay. She'll grow her limbs back and teach me more things. Maybe we'll hunt together, maybe I'll let her cook the bodies like she keeps asking about. Yeah, that could be fun. She's more than a meal. More than a flower, even. I can't replace her. There is only one. It would be nice if she could come with me when I'm hunting away from home. I'm sure she'd like that too. Time passes as we rest until eventually one of my long-distance webs shakes and goes slack, signaling that something broke it. I grumble softly, quite comfortable on top of my Claretta's sleeping form. If I leave now she'll probably wake up before I get back, and I'll miss the start of her songs. Still, I have to make sure nothing dangerous is headed our way. Regretfully, I rise, rubbing my eyes as I plod on over to follow the thread. It isn't long before I hear the voices, and terror fills me. Where's it at now? Still heading this? No, it just stopped. I think it heard you. Humans. Oh, no. Are they here to take my Claretta like they took the Fulvia? Will they be prey, or will they be death? It stopped, another voice asks. If it heard us it wouldn't stop. Unless it's our target. Or something like it. Target. I don't know that word, but it has a dangerous feel to it. Should I just run? Turn around, grab my Claretta, get out of here? No. I just built my new territory. I don't want to leave again. I want to capture the humans. They're so delicious, and so interesting. They're like nest weavers or cat cells in that they all look the same and work together, but they're also like my kind in that each one of them is a vastly different threat. Maybe these would be dangerous, but I can tell by their voices they aren't the death-slaying humans. My lips curl upwards. Ah, I hope I can eat them. I resume my slow trek forward, layering more and more traps around the area as I approach, because why not? Even if they can break the webs, by forcing them to break a web I stack the fight that tiny bit more in my favor, buying myself that tiny bit of extra time. It all matters, when death is on the line. Should I try talking to them again? I guess it was fun the first time, and they already know I'm here. So why not? What's a target? I ask a few traps later. I'm close enough to track them by sound now, so it seems safe enough. They stop moving. By their footsteps I count 5 of them. No, 6. If there's 6, the 6th is more than a little difficult to hear. Are you Lark? A voice hisses, calm and sure. Yeah. I confirm, surprised. How did you know that? I haven't told you my name. Watcher's eyes, it sounds like one of your sisters, Vita. Answer my question, please, I insist. My Claretta says people like it when you say, please, after demanding something. Well, those weren't her exact words, but that's what I got from it. The last people to come here told us your name, the hissy voice says. Oh, wow. Why didn't I think of that? These humans must come from the same place. They can talk to each other. So have you all seen Fulvia? I ask, starting to slowly circle around them as I build more and more webs. They stole her, you know. She's mine. Fulvia is not yours, the hissing voice responds. You ate her. You tortured her. You nearly killed her. None of those things mean she's not mine, I growl. None of those things mean she is yours either, the hiss counters. How about you come out here where we can see you, and we'll have a chat. I got attacked the last time I did that, I point out. Do any of you have fire? I hate fire. The hissy one lets out a wheezing chuckle. I hate fire too, actually. No, none of us have fire. Oh, awesome, an actually sane human. Plus, if they can't burn through my webs, they're going to be way easier to capture and eat. What do you want to talk about? I ask, continuing to build my traps. She's circling around, the Vita reports. Probably making more webs. Also, I want to amend my threat assessment higher. Understood, Vita. Lark, I want to talk about you. Your species. What you're doing here. Would you like to talk about any of that? Sure, I guess, I answer, unconcerned. It sounds kind of fun, actually. I like talking. I usually only get to talk with Claretta. She's alive, a new voice asks, deeper than the others by quite a margin. Of course she is, I snap. I won't let her die. Finishing my circle, I approach through the brush and poke my head out, spotting the humans in a decently sized clearing, or at least what passes for a clearing with the tree canopy choking out light from above. Most of them spot me immediately but none of them attack, so I step the rest of the way out of the brush, standing up straight. The humans are all quite interesting. There's a soft-looking one, there's a huge one covered in chitin that I know isn't part of its actual body, another tall one with a huge sharp thing who smells extra tasty, one hiding up in a tree with a bough that's difficult to hear or smell, a shorter one with a funny thing around its neck and finally the shortest one of all. That one smells very strange, like the other humans in some ways but in others, it isn't like them at all. Whenever I look at it, my eyes keep flicking to its sides, trying to catch movement that I sense but do not see. A mix of expressions are visible on their faces, but the only one I really recognize or comprehend is from the strange short one, fear and fury, fight or flight. It's a state I know quite well, both in myself and my prey. Shit, the armored one whispers. I didn't expect the limiter to be cute. Cute? I ask. I don't know that word either. Interesting morphology, the soft one mutters to itself. I wonder how much of it was beforehand and how much is a result of diet. And the skeletal structure. Keep your comments to yourselves, snaps neck frills, who is apparently also the hissy one. Lark, do you know why you and your kind are here? I don't understand the question, I answer. I've been here since I hatched, which is forever. Do you have any goals? Objectives? To live with Claretta and eat good food, I respond. Like you guys. Like us. You plan to eat us, the hissy one presses. I give it a flat look. Of course. Do you guys not eat each other? Haven't you figured out how delicious you are yet? You can't eat someone just because they taste good, the shortest one growls. Apparently that one is the Vita, by the voice. It's also demonstrably wrong, so I ignore it. Lark, the hissy one presses, once again ignoring my question. Are there any others of your kind that are intelligent? Any others that speak? I don't know, I respond with a shrug. Maybe, but none that I've seen. They're all stupid, they just run at whatever's closest and don't even taste very good. It lets out a raspy sigh in response, glancing back at the other humans for a moment before speaking again. Okay. Executive decision time. Lark, I want you to come with us. We'll ask you more questions and poke at you a bit, but you'll be safe, and we'll give you plenty of food. No, the Vita protests immediately. Bad idea, Song. Really, Vita, the Song asks. This from the girl who tried to negotiate with brain parasites? Vita did what now? How much of the food will be humans? I ask. None of it, the song hisses. You won't be allowed to eat any more humans. Well, in that case, no, I answer frankly. You're my favorite. The alternative is death, the song insists. Come with us, or get killed by us here. I take a deep breath, tensing my muscles. They don't smell that tough. Song, the squishy one murmurs. I'm a no-go on offense. Then support, Penelope. Come on, Lark. We can help each other. Or, I retort, lips curling back to reveal black, curved teeth, I can help myself. I pick my first target and lunge. The humans spring into action, weapons swinging my way all at once. I haven't been sitting around and waiting for food to fall into my traps, though. I've been proactively consuming each and every good meal I come across, amassing as much strength as I can as fast as I can. 6 humans against me at once. What do I care? I'm stronger, I'm smarter, and lately I've become much, much faster. My teeth sink into flesh, and the battle begins. I've never felt souls that fill me with such abject dread as the creatures from Hive Rock. I've felt souls that I know are dangerous plenty of times. Large souls, painful souls, deadly souls, ugly souls. I've looked at the core of a person and felt disgust, revulsion, or outright hate but not dread. Not fear. Yet at the core of whatever I am, some instinct knows I should fear these monsters. Their souls are like a void. Many of them are just a void, a blackness so dense and so hungry that there is nothing else to their being at all. The void consumes, the void grows. Nothing but mindless automatons of hunger, with a core so dense and so dark that I'm terrified even looking too deeply into it could get me sucked inside, never to return. The monster known as Lark is also a void, horrible and starving. Yet orbiting around the inexorable pull of that perfectly dark sphere are other shards, bits of souls deformed and broken that act like a rotating shield between the creature's mind and its all-consuming hunger. Like leaves caught up in a whirlwind, they spin around and around, moving too fast for gravity to take them and pull them in. I recognize some of the bits and pieces from the parts Fulvia's soul is missing, jagged fragments of personhood malshapen and distorted by their transfer from human to monster. Now part of the beast's soul, I feel them slowly growing on their own, though into what I have no way of knowing and no desire to find out. This thing was born, a couple months ago. Yet it's already powerful enough to put me on edge. I bet Penta would have been all for Soam's little offer. It's a monster that's a person, same as us. I get the idea behind it, too. If we can capture Lark alive, we can learn how these Hive Rock monsters tick and how best to kill them. Skyhope needs that advantage if these things aren't going to slow down their growth. Penta's not here though, and I want this soul mutilator dead. Every part of my being screams to kill it or run. I'm going to kill it. The tiny freak dodges 4 different weapon swings before tearing into Bentley's hamstring, pulling out a small fragment of soul alongside the flesh and swallowing them together. In the same motion webs shoot out from its fingers, latching between us and restricting our limbs. Orville of all people nails a bowshot in one of the monster's arms as Song draws a liquid-coated knife and cuts the rest of us free, webs hissing with every stroke of their blade. Damn it, they're not wrong. I swallow my revulsion, shifting to position myself behind Nora to help her cover Penelope while she heals Bentley. We're already on the back foot after letting this thing draw first blood. We need to take the momentum. Thankfully, we luck out and the monster makes a dive towards Nora, trying to bite right through the armor around her knee. A loud clang rings out as its horrible maw collides with her talent, the monster recoiling in pain and surprise as the teeth fail to penetrate. Nora and I each jab from a different side while I also reach a couple tentacles out to grab its horrifying soul. It twists its head with startling speed, teeth snapping around my tentacle and biting it off. I scream, pain flaring through my soul. Vita. Penelope fumes. Don't you dare get hurt yet, I'm not done with Bentley. I'm fine. I snarl back, watching as the monster tries to swallow part of my being. Without flesh or a soul core to stabilize it, however, the tendril tip just phases through the beast's mouth, quickly disintegrating into nothing. How did it even bite me in the first place? Lark is already jumping back, dodging another arrow from Orville while pulling the first out of its shoulder. Black blood splatters out of the wound, and as it twists to fire webs again, Song catches it in the rib with a dart. The horrible little thing snarls in pain, immediately twisting and fleeing into the brush, out of sight. It's way faster than all of us, except possibly for Song, but they decline to chase it down alone. It's in full retreat, I report between clenched teeth. But she's a little girl. Bentley protests, still on one knee as Penelope finishes healing his leg. We hunt monsters, right? That was a person. We talked to her. I was trying to kill it, Penelope growls. It seems to be resistant to just about every disease I can conceive, however. They glance up at our archer. Good shot. Orville nods back, stoic on the outside but with pride and smugness radiating out of his soul. Are you done throwing out insults in the middle of the mission? Penelope snaps. No, Song hisses. But experience tells me it's better to not give idiots more than one thing to try and learn at a time. Vita, did my poison finish it off? I shake my head, swallowing anger and shame. Song is making me feel like the girl that just walked into the guild hall again. It's easy to see why they and Remus are friends. Doesn't feel like it. I think it was hurting for a while there, but it stopped for a moment to eat something and now it's fine. Definitely is, I confirm. I'm sure of it. Okay then, Song nods. That's bad. So what's our plan? Don't you already have one, oh great and wise leader? Penelope mocks. Yes, I do. But if you want to live to be half my age, you need to start thinking all by yourself. Quit relying on your talents and rely on your head. The forest isn't going to keep rolling over and letting you kill it. We're not trainees, Song, Penelope seethes, standing up after finishing with Bentley's leg. We're not verbal punching bags for you to stroke your ego on. Vita and I have saved your life and you haven't done the reverse. Do not act like you've earned the right to insult us. The short, venomous hunter shakes their head. We all do as they say, shutting up to think for a moment. Bentley is actually the first person to speak up. I think we should just find that person we're supposed to save and get out of here. She's our primary objective anyway, right? No, I protest immediately. We can't let that thing live or it'll be even harder to deal with the next time. It grows way too fast. Pot calling the kettle black, Orville murmurs. I shoot him a glare and he shrugs. Bentley may actually have a point, even if it's entirely unintentional on his part, Penelope comments. I agree we need to kill or capture that little creature, but we should secure Claretta first. The prior team noted that the monster grabbed her and ran once it thought it could no longer win, and that's our worst-case scenario. With Claretta secured, it's either forced to fight us or flee without her, both of which are preferable to what happened last time. Do we know where Claretta is? Song asks. I'm not sensing anybody right now, but I'd bet she's that way, I say, pointing. There are a ton of captured monsters around that are alive but stuck in webs. They're thickest in a sort of semicircle shape, which I'm going to guess extends into a full circle outside my range. The closer to the center of the circle, the more the captured monsters thin out. I say we start by checking the middle. Plus, if we kill everything between here and there, the little horror won't have as much to heal off of. I think that's a good plan, Orville agrees, but we need to just admit we have no reliable way to put that thing down for good. We should aim for the head and kill it before it can heal if we can, but if it decides to run away, can any of us stop it? Not safely, Song concurs, nodding. But it needs to die, I insist. Then aim to skewer it through the skull and don't miss, Orville answers, shrugging. First priority is rescue, though. Right? I say we grab our captured hunter and flee through the area we clear on the way there. If that lark thing moves to stop us, we kill it or fight it off. If it doesn't, whatever. We're just not equipped to go out of our way to chase after it, especially not on its own turf. I grit my teeth, wishing he wasn't so right. He is, though. My soul aches, wounded in a way nothing else I've ever encountered has managed. My tendrils extrude from my core, but thankfully aren't part of the core itself. I don't think I keep any vital parts of the soul in them. They're still me, though, and losing a part of myself has me both furious and terrified. The damn thing didn't even have the decency to swallow it. My tendril tip just dissolved into dusty soul stuff that I couldn't pick back up. Slowly but surely the injured tentacle heals, drawing power from my body and core to replenish itself. I don't want to get anywhere near that thing's mouth again, though, and I'd be an idiot to try and grab at its soul another time. I'm back to being a subpar spearwoman for my team, even if one that's significantly stronger and faster than the last time I was limited in this way. I wish I could just sick an army of revenants on the damn thing. Although I wonder how its bite would affect them. It's not enough, though. I do not like having an intelligent, soul-damaging monster running around. That just sounds like exactly the sort of thing that will bite me in the ass down the line. Perhaps literally. Our progress is slow, with endless webs, rock traps, log traps, pit traps, and countless other annoyances in our way that are certainly dangerous but not difficult to spot when we're looking for them. This lark is clearly used to fighting animals, not people as smart as it is. Or she is, as the case may be. My senses don't get an impression one way or the other about it, which is something I've started to notice I do pick up on sometimes. Not always, though. I'm not sure why. Still, with the horrible little gremlin running around naked everywhere, the biology of the matter is clearly on display. A hungry little girl, huh? I'd definitely sympathize if it wasn't trying to kill me. Or if it didn't have an uncomfortably high chance of succeeding. Eventually, however, I feel our goal on my senses and things quickly start to get more exciting. Primary target in range, I announce quietly. Lark seems to have scary good hearing, and we don't want it to know any more than it has to. The team nods in acknowledgement, tensing up. They're still a long way away, and the closer we get to this thing's home the more likely it is to get aggressive. We walk in a tight clump, Nora standing between the direction I point and the rest of us at all times. I keep my finger pointed at Lark, of course, a constant real-time update of the monster's position that also happens to make my hand and the rotating set of tentacles supporting it really damn tired. The pain pays off, though. It takes a risky rush at Orville to try and remove a limb so Penelope can't quickly heal it, and pays for the attempt. Song shoves a knife clear through the little bastard's throat, and it runs off absolutely gushing blood. Still moving, I report. Just ate something. Now it's running to eat something else. I dunno, I think it's going to live. It looks like it's clearing out a bunch of its food at once, at least. She certainly has a lot of it, if not, Penelope comments wryly. All of the Hive Rock egg monsters are this durable, Orville realizes. We just don't notice because they fight to the death when injured instead of running off to heal up. But what if there are other intelligent ones? Or what if any of the ones that eat humans and survive end up intelligent? Shit, man, that sounds like a High Templar problem, Nora groans. Let's just get this done and live happily ever after, please. Little lady. You barely kiss my belly button, you old fart. Can we focus? I snap. Normally I'm fine with banter, but we could seriously die this time. My team shuts up and I continue leading them towards the human on my radar, not being attacked by the monster even a single time the rest of the way. I feel it off at the periphery of my senses, devouring endless hordes of trapped monsters. At least Song seems to have hurt it pretty badly. Finally, we break through some bushes and spot our target. A young woman, probably somewhere in her 20s. She's blonde, freckled, and was probably at some point fairly tall back when she had all her limbs. The poor woman is webbed to the ground by a lake that makes up a majority of the clearing, flowers planted in colorful rows around where she rests. "Are you Claretta?" Song asks, stepping forward. "We're here to save." "Stop," the woman wheezes out. "Webb's here. Can't see. We've got 15 seconds until I start to report," quickly cutting myself off. My attention is stolen by the monster suddenly accelerating way beyond the speed it had shown previously. "Scratch that, contact." I bark, everyone peeling their eyes away from Claretta, barely in time to see Lark blitz out of the brush, aiming right for Bentley's throat. Nora is there in a flash, putting her shield up only for Lark to grab the air and fly right past her and towards our healer. Webs. It has to be. My senses are crazy good now. I mean, my soul literally hatched into an eye. That has to count for something, right? But I can't see them at all. There's no time to think about it. I make a jab towards Lark a moment too late. Penelope puts up an arm to block and Lark just bites the hand clean off, clawing through her throat anyway. It happens in an instant. There's no time to process, panic, or scream. I ready a tentacle to catch Penelope's soul as I stab at the monster again, though it jumps away with a gleeful swallow. Our healer's remaining hand moves to stop the blood, but she's casting half as fast with half her fingers. I will my mouth to produce saliva, blowing spit in an arc around us, the drops beating on a few of the wire-like webs. There they are. The webs themselves seem invisible. How thin did she get them? I win, the tiny monster gloats, leaping around and laying out yet more of those damn threads. That one is the only one that heals. You'll all tire before I run out of food. I win. More humans for me. Claretta. Make sure the rest of them don't die. Claretta takes a deep breath, and starts to sing. No, Claretta, Lark growls. Not now. The one that's bleeding can die. The blood gushing from Penelope's neck starts to slow as her song continues regardless. Song pulls down their collar and starts spitting as well, cutting through any revealed wire webs with their acidic knife. Claretta, I said not now. Lark snaps. Claretta. Claretta. Lark shrieks, almost desperately. Claretta, what are you doing? Stop. Stop. They're here to take you away. Claretta. Don't go with them. Claretta. Confusion and terror spread across the monster's face, and it hesitates. We waste no time capitalizing on that, landing more cuts. Stop stealing her, it begs us. Stop it. Claretta. Sing, sing, and sing some more. It's all the broken hunter does in response. Bentley scoops her up as well, one biomancer in each arm as we turn and make a fighting retreat from the area. Element of surprise lost, the battle falls out of Lark's favor and into ours, wounds on her small body stacking up with very few nearby creatures to eat and heal from. Wailing and begging, her voice screaming raw, a monster cries as something she loves is taken away. Claretta. Claretta. I scream as loudly as I can, barely choking the name out between sobs. My blood drips on the earth and I know I have to run, I have to go eat something or I'll die, but Claretta. They're taking my Claretta. They're taking her, and she's helping them, and I don't understand why. I don't understand any of it. Water pours from my eyes, just as it did for Claretta and the Fulvia so many times. Is this why? Is this what that meant? Is this how they felt? I don't understand. An arrow flies my way, stabbing through my belly. I have to go. I have to go. No, they have my Claretta. No, no, no. I'm barely even thinking when I turn and run, fleeing to my closest stored meal, hateful instincts pulling me to survival, to food. I have to heal, I have to go back and kill them all. I have to save Claretta. She's silly, and she doesn't understand that she's leaving me. Right? That has to be it. It doesn't take long. Soon, they're beyond the reach of my webs and it only helps them move faster. I follow. I have to follow. What else can I do? I need to calm down and think. Think. I can't go ahead of them and make traps because I don't know where they're going. What else can I do? How else can I beat a bunch of humans? I don't know how much time passes, but I'm eventually given my answer. An island starts to pass overhead and I remember that humans have to sleep. These ones don't. They keep pressing on, knowing I'm following them. But they can't do that forever, right? Lots of creatures I've seen are like that. They eventually run out of energy well before I do. As long as I keep eating, I can keep going. Humans can't, though. There's a limit to how much food Claretta can eat at once. There's a limit to how long she can stay awake before she loses consciousness. The same should go for all humans, shouldn't it? It does. It has to. Otherwise, I'm doomed. I follow them. Night and day I keep on their trail, tracking them by sound and circling their position. They know I'm here, the Vita can sense me from further than I can hear them. It doesn't matter, though, as long as I keep something between me and them they can't do anything about me. I will outlast them. Another day, and they start to slow down. Another day and I attack, prodding at their defenses and testing their strength. Half of them seem exhausted, but the other half are fine. The Somme, the Bentley, and the Vita still fight with the same vigor of the first day. Not the rest of them, however. I'll keep waiting, keep wearing them out. I'll get you back, Claretta. Finally, another day later, when the sky ground comes they finally stop. I grin, lying down to wait and rest myself. The island above is massive and the night will be long and dark. Let them get comfortable. Let them sleep. That's when I'll strike. I lie silently and pick my moment. I can't see them, only hear and smell them, and the sounds from their camp are quiet. I can only guess when the best time to attack is, but I am an experienced hunter and my guesses are very, very good. I move forward. Go away. Claretta suddenly shouts into the darkness. Don't get any closer. Claretta. I call out, breaking into a sprint. What are they doing to her? Is she okay? Wait, me. I skid to a halt. Claretta? What? I don't know what it is that made me take a step backwards at those words. The raw, hoarse terror to her voice, perhaps. The Claretta I know is always calm. Measured. She chooses her words carefully, always putting me at ease. She knows better than to do otherwise, which is why she's so much better than the Fulvia. She's smart. I barely understand tone anyway, and she knows that too. I'll always respond better when she's calm. This sound, though, this tone it isn't calm in the slightest, and I absolutely do understand it. It's the same sort of scream I made when I begged her to come back. Claretta, I like you. I remind her desperately. We were going to do things together. We. Another step back. I'm terrified and I don't know why. I should just rush forward, kill the other humans and take her back, right? I was going to let you. Lark, Claretta seethes, an unbridled hate oozing through her words. You made me choose between torturing my friend and watching her die. People are going to come for you, and they are going to kill you, and there is nothing in the entire world I want more than that. I turn and start to run the other way. I hope they bring me your corpse, Claretta murmurs, but I don't deserve that kind of closure. I run and I don't stop. I don't understand. 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 I don't know how long I flee for. Days, maybe. At some point my terror shifts to anger, pushing me to follow my baser instincts. How dare she hate me? After I spared her, after I made her special to me. With these thoughts I tear my teeth into everything I come across, not bothering to go for limbs or consider my approach. I'm just a whirlwind of death and fury, ripping apart my prey like any other stupid member of my kin. Darkness forms in the day, dropping water on me like the sky itself is crying. I don't even know what I'm fighting when the rain falls. Rain. Claretta described it to me once, but I've never seen it before. Gloomy, dreary, and cold. A perfect mix for my battle with this five-legged bug thing. Why am I even trying to eat this? It looks gross. I don't want to look like that. I jump away, making distance until it stops chasing me. The anger is gone and nothing replaces it. What do I do now? Where do I go? Should I bother going anywhere? Where am I? There are no landmarks in the forest, not when every inch is covered with dense layers of bushes and trees. It's part of why I marked and webbed such a huge territory. The only other way for me to even tell what direction I'm going is to find a clearing and look up at the sky, orienting myself with the islands above. Those change, however, and after many days of whatever I was doing, I don't recognize any of the ones close enough to tell me what direction I'm pointing. Does it really matter, though? I have nowhere to go. I need to find water, I guess, if I want to live. Do I want to live? Do I want to do anything? Yes. I decide yes. I want to live. But what will I do? I've lost my Claretta, and she's the only Claretta there is. Not the only human, though, I suppose. Claretta was kind, Claretta taught me things, Claretta sang for me. Maybe there's another human like that as well. I don't know how to find any, though, so I just keep wandering. Ambling. Eating anything in my path that looks powerful or interesting. I have no plan other than to keep walking in the same direction until I find a human or something kills me. Or I walk off the edge of the island, I suppose. Claretta said we're on an island, too, just like the ones in the sky. More days pass like this, and I once again don't bother to keep track of how many. I suppose I could count them all if I wish. I don't forget things like the Fulvia did. I don't really want to think too hard about the past however many days, though. Not now, and probably never again. It hurts too much. It scares me too much, though what exactly scares me I'm still not sure. Eventually, however, my non-strategy lucks out and bears fruit. I find a human. Damn, a deep voice swears. It ran into the forest. To my left I hear a scuffling in the underbrush and quickly pounce on it, grabbing a small animal between my claws and pulling it into the light. Brown and fuzzy, the creature's long, floppy ears and powerful hind legs seem like decent enough traits, though the thing is so tiny and weak I suspect it spends more time running away than catching any prey regardless. Oh right, the human. That's a human voice. I found one. I quickly bind up my next meal and carry it under one arm as I scurry towards the sound. What were you trying to catch? I ask. I hear my quarry pause. I'm so happy to have found one. Either it's wonderful like the Claretta and I'll get to keep it, or it's not and I'll get to eat it. Hello? It asks. Is someone there? Yes, I confirm. I am here. My name is Lark. Hello. Miss Lark, the human asks, confused. You sound way too young to be playing this far from town, you're going to get hurt if you do that. Come on out of the forest now, yeah. Okay, I agree. Seems sensible enough, I do get hurt all the time. But what does it mean by, out of the forest? Into a clearing, probably. There are patches of forest all over without the otherwise ever-present bushes and branches. Sometimes it's because of bodies of water, sometimes it's because of rocks, sometimes a huge monster recently smashed the area and sometimes I'm not sure why the trees are gone at all. The areas are never particularly large, but they're welcome places to rest, collect oneself, and My train of thought screeches to a halt as I push through the thick brush into not a clearing. Or perhaps the ultimate clearing. I can see so far. There are so many things out in front of me I can't see the forest on the other side. There might not even be forest on the other side. It's too much at once. I've never seen this many new things at the same time since the day I was born. I have to wait, the human is running away. Help, it screams, sprinting towards I don't even know. The long, yellow grass. The odd square stones. The tiny, tiny creatures the faraway creatures that I can barely make out moving between them. It doesn't matter, really. Quit running, I command, shooting webs out of my fingers and catching it in the back. With my other hand I shoot webs into the ground, anchoring my smaller body down to manage the weight difference before I tug. To my annoyance, I only manage to yank the human's cloak off. Right, the detachable skin thing that they do. Whatever, I just shoot more webs and grab it for real this time, pulling it back towards me. The human lands on its back with a heavy thud, and I quickly web it up before showing it the other animal I just caught. Question. What's this? The human is silent for a while, looking around in a wild panic for a few moments before hesitantly answering. A rabbit? Rabbit, I repeat, memorizing the word. Okay. Thanks. I sit down on the human's chest, biting off the first of the limbs on the rabbit. It screams in distress, which I'm used to ignoring by now, even with my sensitive hearing. It's a pretty normal reaction for my food. I web up its mouth a bit more. What are you? The human asks. What are you doing? I'm Lark, I say, slower this time so he can understand easier. I told you that already. And right now, I'm deciding whether to keep you or eat you. I bite off the rabbit's other leg, swallowing immediately. Not that big or tasty, but food is food and I kind of like how it looks. Like the cat's ells, but a bit deformed. And smaller, which is appealing somehow. I don't know, I just kind of like it even though I know larger creatures are more likely to fare well in combat. The human, meanwhile, seems to be thinking rapidly, its panicked mind coming to a decision that would define the rest of its life. It takes a deep, deep breath, and bellows as loud as it can. Monster attack. Sound the alarm. Monster attack. Sound the alarm. Hey, quit that, I grumble, getting up and kicking the loud human in the head. What is it even doing? Help. Monster attack. I said stop. Help. Help. Alarm. Please, somebody. The human's voice is already hoarse, each scream bellowed with the fullest extent of its lung capacity. Face red, body sweating, the terrified creature does what? What is it doing? Surely it understands that annoying me will get it killed. I glance around, eyes catching on the faraway moving blobs. I'm still struggling to interpret what I'm seeing. I've never seen so far without looking up, and there's nothing to see when I look up except rocks. Yet I think those might be more humans. I think a bunch of them might be coming this way. People are going to come for you, and they are going to kill you, and there is nothing in the entire world I want more than that. Shit. I guess this human is choosing to be food. I web up its mouth, dragging it into the forest and out of sight. On a whim, I take the cloak, too. Maybe it's big enough to hide me. If not, it might at least be good for rain. I glance down at my prey, seeing water leaking from the human's eyes. Damn it. I hate when they do that.